guys.
Hello.
Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. All right, well, welcome everyone to yet another episode of the Wonderlust podcast. I am Ray, and this is
Sarah.
Or Sra, the closest thing I have to a twin.
No.
Yes.
I will call you by the wrong name if you can't call me by the right one.
Legally, they're both correct, so.
Oh.
You're rude. Legally, your option's not correct.
Oh, okay. And then this week, as you guys can hear, we have our first guest.
Yay!
Yes.
Hi, guys.
Hi. So we have Armando, who is the host of the podcast, The Plant Nook, here with us today. It's our premier guest.
I'm so excited. I love listening to you guys' show. It is so much fun.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that.
All of the warm fuzzies.
I was going to say, so many warm fuzzies.
I
You guys
know.
helped me get through the drive from New York to Colorado, just so you're aware.
Makes my heart so happy.
Yeah, we're here to help everyone with all of their drives or chores. If you have to do laundry, I can personally attest that is a bitch and a half, and I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Laundry
It's a great way to
is-
catch up on podcasts.
It
That's
is.
true.
It is.
Just
Other
fold
than
them.
that, it's the bane of my existence.
I was gonna say I get through the folding pretty good. It's the putting away. For some reason, it's like there's always a step where I'm like, nope, I'm done now mentally. So,
It's the folding.
yep,
That's,
folded for me.
yeah.
yeah.
That's
No, the
where it is
folding
for me,
usually
too.
is bad.
I can't do it.
Usually is bad. But
And don't even get us started about folding socks.
I don't even fold them anymore.
I was gonna say I've
Same.
given up. I've given up. I have a giant sock drawer. Just dump
Just
them in there.
stuff them in the drawer.
Yeah.
That's what I do. And then I look for the match when I'm gonna put on my socks.
What's like silly for me is that my sock drawer is literally the biggest hazard because like it doesn't have knobs that work, and it doesn't go in and out smoothly. So it's just forever a great time for me, sock wise. Glad everyone. Why do I always end up talking about my feet?
As the one long toe.
I feel like there was another one where I was like talking about how I like might have broken my foot, like, and you were
you did.
saying it was like a big buttered corn. Gross.
Oh.
I forgot about that. Yuck.
Yeah. I could never forget. Oh man. Awesome. Yes, I'm very excited to have our first guest episode. Yeah, so this week what are we talking about, guys? What's our sister subject?
It's nature.
Yes. Also known as nations.
Oh, no, still hate it.
But see, that's why I love it.
I am aware.
I'm still not sure which one I prefer more.
See?
He's playing the neutral line.
I was gonna say
I'm a
really
Libra.
riding the fence. You're a Libra?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Sarah, for some reason I always think you're a Libra.
me?
I know it's Virgo. It's not because I like see Libra stuff and I'm like,
I'm
she's
very
a Libra.
close to
It's
the
like
line, though.
they're 5 letters. And that's as much as it takes to confuse me, apparently.
I thought you were just confused about the dates. I would have taken that one because I'm like on the edge.
No, it's
okay.
traditional dyslexia, and for some reason I like convince myself that I remembered it wrong, and then I'm like, Virgo, right? She's a Virgo.
Virgo.
Yeah. That's always how it goes.
So what are we talking about with the science and nature?
I've got a good one for you guys, which I did research/study things specifically with Armando in mind, and we do hope that you return as a guest again, because I have some other ones that I actually picked out for you first, and then I found this one and I was like, oh shit, I don't know anything about this.
I would be happy to come back.
Yes.
Always.
Oh my gosh, very exciting. I'm like, it's so funny because we do always say we're so excited, but now you get to actually see it.
So you see that we
I
are.
know.
Just like big cheese and like, we're gonna talk about stuff.
It's going to be so much fun just watching your faces now. Because, like, I
Yeah.
try and imagine when something happens on the actual show, what your faces look like, especially when, like, Sarah's like, you should see Ray's face right now.
Right.
So I'm really excited to actually see it.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, like when I make a lot of weird noises and
Like
voices.
weird. Even, what did you just say? You were like a weird gremlin earlier?
A gremlin. I usually am a gremlin in the chair, so you'll probably see that
It's
shortly. I will melt soon. All right, so let's get into it, as they say.
Yeah? All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
After you.
Yeah.
So it's hard to imagine Earth without its dense forests, whether it's the rainforests or the vast, evergreen forests of the Arctic. But trees have not always ruled over Earth's ecosystems. I mentioned in an earlier episode how sharks are even older than trees, and there are some sharks that are older than America that are still alive. But long before trees and sharks, in fact, long before Earth was Earth. Strange organisms with large, unusual canopies stretched up towards the skies and covered the surface of the planet. Some stood over 30 feet or 8 meters high and over a meter in diameter. But what were they?
Aliens.
Ferns.
Mushrooms.
Oh, I didn't go back far enough. Damn it.
Didn't go back far enough. I like how he gave you a real answer, and I'm just like, aliens!
Could have been. I don't know. Yeah, I saw a post on Instagram, and I think it might have been like Dipley facts or like weird facts or one of those.
Yeah. Facty things.
Yeah, and it was like, did you know that millions of years ago, before there were trees, mushrooms ruled the world? And I was like, no, and what? And no?
What?
What?
Oh, this guy's getting excited over here.
So yeah, and here we are. So we're going to be talking about mushrooms and fungi and all of the things that I decided to dive into with that. I will say I am just scratching the surface. I knew nothing pretty much about this besides that fungus exist and that they were in their own kingdom, and that was pretty much it. Thank you, Florida, for your education that you granted me with. So...
Hashtag Florida mention.
Hashtag, I'm sure there will be more.
I was wondering how long it was going to take.
Not very long, apparently.
Not very long. It's just, because I was kind of reading this and I was like, how did I not know about this before? And then I was like, there's a good reason, actually. I've not known about a lot of things until we started this podcast, actually.
I know, right?
Okay. So yeah, thinking about the world like covered in giant mushrooms just seemed literally like so insane to me. So then it took me down Google's furry burrow.
Ugh.
Ew. I don't like that imagery.
Yes.
No, nobody does, except for Emily.
I just love what it does to us all, personally.
Furry burrow.
Ew,
I
so
love
much
that.
Guys.
It's warm and cuddly. Don't be scared.
My assistant is not thrilled.
Oh my god, I love that. Okay, so yeah, like I said, it's like I tried not to go too deep into it, but then like immediately stumbled into the Mariana Trench of information. So here we go.
Okay.
So in the early 1900s, researchers uncovered some remarkable fungal fossils in the village of Rhynie. It's spelled Rhynie. That's in northeast Scotland. And the fossils were 407 million years old.
Ooh.
Shout out to the 407.
That's what I was going to say, damn it.
Every time I give someone my number, they're like, Orlando. And I'm like, yes, and I'm trashy too.
But 407 is still better than the 321.
Exactly. Just
Yep.
like 212 is better than 646 and 347. I said it.
I don't.
This is too many numbers, guys.
Yeah, I didn't get the second one.
Those are New York City area codes.
Oh,
I wasn't
okay,
cool
okay.
enough when I had a phone number, a New York City phone number at one point. I think it was for photography, and I wasn't cool enough to get a 212 area code. I got stuck with 646. It was sad. Yeah.
Such is life.
Yeah, it's true.
Such as
So the fungi had turned to stone in mineral-rich hot springs and were preserved in microscopic detail. Now, until recently, those fossils were the oldest clear evidence of fungi, and many scientists considered those fossils early evidence of evolution on land, of their evolution on land. Excuse me. Scientists have believed for quite some time that plants and fungi had developed and evolved on land together, but recent evidence has many researchers doubting that theory. If the Scotland, then this is a quote, if the Scotland fossils were among the earliest members of the fungal kingdom, you would expect that living fungi would share a common ancestor with those fossils not long before 407 million years ago. But that's not what they found when they took a closer look at the genes of living fungi. Their DNA indicates that their common ancestor came from a fungi that lived over 1.5 billion years ago.
What?
That's insane.
Yes. And there have been, I did find, like, after, because this was from a New York Times article that I think was from 2019. I think that's what I said. No. Yeah, it is. But I did find other sources deep in Mariana Trench of fungal world. And there were some fossils that have been found that were even, like 600 million years ago and like 700. But again, this was established, that their common ancestor was over 1.5 billion years ago, was established when they found this fossil in Scotland.
So, what you're saying is that 1.5 billion years ago, the first fungi was born. Worth it.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You really thought I was going to say something serious, too.
I really did.
I
You
thought
had
so
me.
too.
Oh my god.
It was so worth it. All right, continue. I am interested, but I just really couldn't help myself there. Continue.
Trust me, I told Mom that I was doing this, and she gave me a list of puns, which I will recite for you at the end of this.
Yes.
Yeah.
So excited.
So yes. So now earlier I said that fungi ruled the world long before Earth was Earth.
Yeah, that was confusing.
Well, it's true. Because yes, obviously the Earth is like 4.6 billion years old, but who's counting? Am I right?
I thought it was only like 1,000 years old.
It's 2021 years old.
Oh, wait,
Okay.
yeah, you're right. So like 2021.
But she
My
doesn't
bad,
look
sorry.
a day over. Oh, I was about to say doesn't look a day over 2020, but doesn't look a day over 2019. Please.
There you
take us
go.
back. Yikes. Okay, so but if it weren't for fungi, then this is the whole if when fungi ruled the world, it was long before Earth became Earth, right? If it weren't for fungi, plant and animal evolution would not have been possible. Early fungi were actually the evolutionary game changers for us and everything we know in the natural world today. Their ability to break down minerals and basically everything else using their powerful digestive enzymes literally paved the way for us because they were able to break down the planet's rocky surface and form fertile soil.
What?
And I looked it up because I had heard this once where people were like, does anyone know why Earth is named Earth? Like, no one knows who named Earth. Well, Earth is literally like dirt. It's the word for dirt in many variations of different languages. Probably Latin. So...
More,
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Pretty sure Latin isn't terra, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That would make more
So
sense.
what is it? It was something. Maybe it was Slavic.
Greek?
Ooh, maybe. I don't
Could be
know.
Greek. Could be Greek.
Probably should have included that in my notes, but it's true. The reason why Earth is called Earth to us now is because it's like dirty. She's a dirty girl. Anyways, I'm
Yuck.
funny. I like it. It's nice for me. I'll take the silence. It's fine, guys.
Oh god.
Okay, so yes, so that's what I meant by that. And while they were busy setting the stage, being super fun guys, they also took on a starring role in their own production, which we were completely unaware of until 1843, when Canadian geologists discovered an enormous fossil during a coal survey in Gaspé Bay, Canada, which is in Quebec. And this
Wait, how do you say that?
Gaspé, Gaspe, but there's an accent on the E.
Okay.
Gaspé Bay, Quebec.
Oh god.
All right.
Armando's like, I wanted the full Mystic Sisters experience, and I was literally just like
It's
cringing.
like-
Like, oh shit.
I know, now he knows how much of our experience is cringe.
It's a fun time. We're fun guys. You started it. Yeah. You started it.
so excited though.
It's never gonna end
So
now.
excited.
On pun patrol. Okay. So yes. So the fossil that they found was over 8 meters tall and came from a layer of earth that dated back 420 million years ago. For a long time, researchers were completely stumped by this specimen.
Look at your dumb face.
But even today, there's still some debate as to its precise classification, because despite its towering height, tree trunk-like shape, and ringed core, But despite its towering height, tree trunk-like shape, and ringed core, the one thing they are certain of is that this was no plant, and unlike anything else they had ever seen before. So, seems like a pretty startling discovery to me. And honestly,
So 8 meters, that's like 24 feet, right?
yeah, that's about 30
Yeah.
feet. Yeah, this is
That's huge.
tree-esque fossil, but they're like, oh no, it's definitely not a plant.
I also like, are your guys' brains like breaking trying to picture a giant fucking mushroom?
Mine is not, because on this Dipley Facts, or whatever facts it was, I have it saved on Instagram, they had like this picture of like this prehistoric mushroom world, which kind of looks a little bit like if you've seen the prehistoric episodes of SpongeBob.
Oh yeah.
Where they just have like weird amorphous thingies, you know, and they're underwater, but yes.
Wait,
So,
can fungi grow underwater?
yes, that fungi came from water, actually.
Yep. Yeah, there are certain species now that still grow in water.
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah. So yes, so now, you know, everyone agrees this wasn't a plant, okay? But back then, they didn't know what it was. And also, pretty strange fossil to pull out of the earth that was like 420 million years old. Okay. But whatever. So, perhaps due to its ominous nature, or maybe they just didn't care, they had other stuff going on at the time, but the fossil remained unstudied and sat quietly waiting in the wings in a collection at a museum for nearly 2 decades.
Jeez.
Yes. Enter Sir John William Dawson. Now, John William Dawson was a 19th century Canadian geologist, but ultimately, in Dawson's eyes, nothing rocked harder than Jesus.
Ew.
I don't like it.
Yeah, so Dawson was a creationist, okay? And so as a creationist, he spoke out against Darwin's theory of evolution, and wrote several books and articles discussing how he believed that science and Christian religion were complementary. Some of his greatest hits were The Story of Earth and Man, Origins of the World According to Revelation and Science. There were others, but those had the
Armando's
best
face.
titles.
That was great. Thank you.
It's It's like I
Sorry.
missed the face.
It's okay. You can watch it later.
All right. So now back to our star, ominous giant thingy thing.
I'm sorry, what?
Thingy thing?
Oh, okay.
Ominous giant.
Ominous giant thingy thing that nobody really cared about at all.
Yeah.
And in 1859, now it was discovered back in 1843, and they kind of were just like, and stuck it in a museum. So now in 1859, Dawson came across this seemingly forgotten fossil and published a paper describing what he believed was the first plant fossil. Sorry, I had like a segue in here because I was just like I was on one when I was like, how are you a creationist? And you're like, literally, oh, okay, cool, thank you. That was weird. Zoom just had a
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you get
for
that
me.
too?
Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
Okay.
It was odd. Anyways, yeah, so it just kind of like, I was like, what's the creation story? Because I'm like, how do you pull this out of the ground and you just think it got there yesterday? Like, I'm just so confused. And like, how do you know what a fossil is if you're like, Jesus was just here? Like, it just, I don't understand how that, I just didn't get it.
You guys just missed him, okay?
Yeah, I guess. He's coming right back. I don't know.
Yeah, he'll be back soon.
So I was
Freaking fire and brimstone.
Oppie. Love that for us. So I like looked it all up because I was like, okay, so does he think that all of creation happened in 7 days? Because isn't that the story?
Yes.
And I was like, what are the days? Because I don't remember. I probably should, but I don't remember. But the days are, and I'm going to just say them in order, light, then air and atmosphere, then plants, then sun, moon, and stars,
What?
then birds and sea creatures, then land, animals, and humans, and day 7 was the creation of the nap. Which I'm like, they must have been some really long fucking days, and also like, what were the plants doing before the sun got there? Because okay, sorry, it just didn't make any sense to me, so it just astounds me, the logic. But anyways, back to his papier. In his paper, he theorized that this fossil could be some type of primitive conifer tree that may have had an unknown fungus growing on it. So pretty astute for odd creationist Jesus.
That's a fair assumption, though.
Yeah, yes, very astute. And especially when you consider, like, the symbiotic relationship that plants and fungi share even today.
Right.
So maybe that's where he got that assessment from. But he named the specimen Prototaxides, which means first yew, as in, like, a yew tree, Y-E-W.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It sounds like a disease.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah, Prototaxides. Oh, I wouldn't want that.
There's a cream for that.
I would hope so.
Oh, man.
I did look up pictures of ancient yew trees, and, like, compared to the illustrations of the fossil, like, there are some interesting similarities, and actually, like, if you literally type in ancient yew trees on Google Images, it's, like, it kind of resembles, like, the stalk of a mushroom. Like, if you just, like, ignore the tree part, it's very, like... The trunk is interesting, is my point.
Okay. If you ignore the tree part, it looks like a mushroom.
Right?
What is it called?
I could totally see that.
It just Google ancient yew, Y-E-W. So yes, so he called it Prototaxides and pretty much just like continued writing about Jesus and bashing Darwin,
Oh.
and that was his involvement. But now, fast forward to 1872, botanist William Carruthers published a paper saying that Prototaxides couldn't possibly be a plant, and it was probably just a giant mound of algae. Algae?
Algae?
It depends on who you are.
I was like, do the British say algae?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's where that came from. Okay.
Yeah.
Or possibly kelp. So that's in 1872. He said that, and to be honest, a lot of people were like, yeah, that checks out. Probably kelp or algae, however you say it. Now we're up to 1919. And in 1919, English botanist Arthur Harry Church declared that Prototaxides was a fungus, and he was the first to do so. But sadly, no one really cared.
That sucks.
Straight up, nobody really cared. Nobody listened to him, and based on William Carruthers' findings, Prototaxides was just kind of filed under probably weird algae, and that's what they left it as for more than a century.
That's so sad.
Yeah. But obviously, Arthur Harry Church was definitely onto something, and in 2001, remember this fossil was discovered in 1843, in 2001, his theory was finally confirmed and defended by paleobotanist Francis Huber.
Man.
Yeah.
That took a long time.
Right? A very long... And it had been sitting there for 450 million years. Like, anyways. What a girl's got to do to get some attention. After 20 years of his own research, Huber published a paper stating that Prototaxides was the fruiting body of a large fungus. AKA, it was one giant motherfucking mushroom. And initially, Prototaxides was believed to be, obviously, a type of tree because of the rings that were similar to growth rings found in the core of its quote-unquote trunk. But the rings in Prototaxides were oblong or elliptical in shape, and they weren't always concentric. Francis Huber decided... So, concentric circles means, like, they're one inside of the other, like tree rings, how they kind of document the growth of each year. So they're not always, sometimes they'd like overlap, or they'd be like kind of off to the side. They weren't always, some of them were concentric, but they're not, it wasn't consistent. So he decided to take a closer look and inspected the fossil under a microscope, and he found evidence of hyphae. I think that's how you say it. Hyphae? I think it's hyphae.
It's hyphae.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I just spell things for people, and I'm like, decide for yourself. You get it. This is day one of mycology for me. So
mycology's hard.
Yo.
Super hard.
It's insane. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's insane. I kind of I mentioned this a little bit later, but I tried to keep my notes separate from it for the most part. But I watched that documentary on Netflix called Fantastic Fungi. Have you seen that?
That was a thing. No.
Oh my god, you should watch it, Armando. Like,
okay.
It goes from 0 to 10,000, like, so fast. And by probably, like, a little more than halfway into it, I was, like, questioning absolutely everything that I'd ever known. So...
Yay! Just what I need in my life.
It's
more
a gentle,
of that.
really soothing doc, but it is actually. And Brie Larson is the narrator / voiceover. Okay. I mean, she doesn't really narrate the whole thing, but she like has these profound moments where she just like blows your mind gently. It's very interesting. So, for anyone who doesn't know, hyphae are small branch-like filaments that are found in fungus and make up mycelium. They absorb the nutrients from their environment and transport those nutrients throughout the fungal body. They also extend their reach to plants, and hyphae bridge the gap between mycelium and plants. They grow symbiotically with the plant root systems, providing essential nutrients to the plants. The hyphae are the individual strands that make up the mycelium, and the mycelium actually works like a neural network between the plants, and it facilitates their ability to communicate with one another, protect each other, and to warn each other of threats or anything like that. They can also, like, the mycelium, like, basically works as almost a neural network underground, and the way that it fires electrical impulses very similarly to the synapses in our brain. So it's basically like, and so mushrooms are just like the fruit. It's just like the tiniest little bit that we see of fungus, but it actually exists all throughout the world underneath us.
Slightly terrifying.
It's insane. It's insane.
Also, do you think that the fungi is what was responsible for the Evolution of Ents.
Okay, I
That took me a second. I don't know why.
I know, like, I'm also kind of just like, yes.
I mean, it's like a joke, but also I do think that it's interesting.
I mean-
like, yeah, I mean, it's fictional, but it's also just like, honestly, it's,
Makes sense.
it just, like, so that is kind of, like, I don't want to, like, spoil the documentary for anyone, but it's, like, that is, like, one of those things of just, like, learning how broad and vast, like, mycelium networks are, and also how they react, and that it is through electrical impulses, and that it is kind of like a brain, and then I'm kind of just, like, and then when you also learn that it, like, is from 1 billion years ago, and was actually predates plants and animals, and all of this other stuff, it just kind of gets, like, really, like, mind-blowing everywhere. Just, yeah.
Everywhere.
There's fungi everywhere.
Those fun guys.
Oh, they really are. So this discovery by Francis Huber obviously was huge, and this was the first confirmation that giant fungi once ruled the planet millions of years ago. And they actually did a study back in 2007 that confirmed that Prototaxides was in fact an eater and not a photosynthesizer. So they already confirmed that it had hyphae. And now they're confirming again that it is an eater and it doesn't photosynthesize. And they did this based on the carbon levels that they found in the fossils' makeup. Because plants, like, carbon levels are usually pretty... there's like a whole breakdown. I have so much in here, and I was like, I can't go into carbon isotopes because that's just too much.
Carbon dating.
Please don't. I mean, I'm sure it's
Basically,
cool, but like
photosynthesis, it's like plants are pretty regulated, you know, and with fungus, because they eat things, it depends on what they're eating. So it's not consistent. So their findings suggested that Prototaxides fed on dead or decomposing organic materials, and that its massive networks of ever-reaching hyphae and mycelium sent those nutrients back to its towering spires. So it's just constantly expanding under the surface and sending all of this back to these spires to help them grow.
So, if the mushrooms are going to be, in this case, considered one of the first things to colonize land, but they're eating organic material, but they're on Earth, which is innately inorganic material, what did they eat then?
So they actually broke down, like, the rocky surface over a long fucking time, and then once, like, bugs kind of evolved a little bit, then they would eat those too.
Gotcha. Okay.
It was like a really, really long process to get to the point where they were, like, fucking massive. But it's just this whole process where they are, like, towering over everything and literally covering the surface of the planet. That's what helped to break down all of the fertile soil that exists currently.
to create dirt.
Yeah. And obviously, you know, as plants kind of rose up, then that's when they kind of begin to go back underground and shrink and do their thing. Yeah.
I know it sounds cool, but it also sounds super creepy.
Yeah. Oh, it gets creepier. Don't worry.
Fun. Ooh.
Yeah. Yes.
Can I, at some point, share a creepy story about some fungi that I knew?
Like
Sounds
an
weird.
actual fun person?
No.
Okay.
I know that sounds weird. I knew this previously, but I will share it at some point whenever you deem it.
Share it now.
Well, no, I want to see where you keep going because it might fit better. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Check that. All right. Yeah. So based on all that we know, Prototaxides marks the peak of fungi's reign over life on land. Now, here's where things start to get a little crazy. Because this was hundreds of million years ago. And, you know, obviously I mentioned earlier that they had found evidence of fungi over 1.5 billion years ago, and that was a common ancestor to fungi that exist and grow today, okay? Mm-hmm. Well, one thing that scientists are not completely sure of, and they've agreed on this, is whether or not fungi actually have a lifespan.
Ha!
Yeah. So, meaning potentially and theoretically, fungi is immortal. It doesn't like have like an
end date.
An end date. Yes, it can just keep growing. And like the hyphae are so small, like they grow one cell at a time. And that makes up the mycelium, which is the neural network underground. And the little mushrooms that we see are just like the little fruiting bodies that just pop up. But
those are the sex organs.
Yeah, exactly. And they release like zillions of spores too. So it's like they're just like just everywhere. Also, there's a bunch of different kinds of fungus too. But it's like in everything. Like we have fungus in our bodies that occurs naturally. Like it's in animals, and it's also in the food that we eat. It's in fucking beer and wine. It's in everything. But yeah, so it's basically, as far as we can tell, it will just grow as long as, quote, this is a quote, as long as conditions remain favorable, which they existed when conditions were not so favorable, and they did a pretty damn fine job then, you know? So it's basically possible that mycelia exists and has grown continuously for thousands of years or longer. And a thriving example of that is Oregon's famous humongous fungus.
I was going to bring this up, but I figured you would.
Ooh, what's that?
Yeah, so it's the largest living organism on Earth today, as far as we know. Yes. It's known as the Armillaria ostoya, which is a beautiful name, by the way. Armillaria ostoya. And this fungus covers approximately 2,400 acres of Oregon's Meller National Forest.
It's a very big mushroom.
That is insane.
Yes. It's huge. And now, as far as researchers can tell, this Armillaria ostoya started growing somewhere between 2,000 and 8,000 years ago. They don't actually know.
I don't like this. This is creepy. Like, I know I'm supposed to be in awe and think it's cool, but like...
It gets better, and by better I mean worse.
Yay!
I'm excited.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's insane. First of all, that it's just I like how it's somewhere between 2,000 and 8,000, because you think the 2,000 is like the creationists. They're like, no, it's only been around since Jesus. Dawson coming back with a win there. Also, it potentially, because they don't exactly know, right? They're just guessing on like the boundaries and like I'm assuming the elevation, and they are scientists, so I trust them. But it potentially, weighs.
Wow.
Yeah, it potentially weighs 40,000 tons.
Gross. Stop it. I don't want to. No, don't like it.
Which is the equivalent of...
Oh, yes,
I love
do
this.
like this
Okay,
game,
go.
though.
2 Statue of Liberties, which includes like the full base, not just like the little on top. 3 Brooklyn Bridges. 4 Eiffel Towers. I like how that one, you guys were like... 65 Christ the Redeemer statues.
That's a lot, Jesus.
I like how Armando and I's faces are like the same.
550 space shuttles.
Like,
Okay.
okay, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't like that either. I don't like any of this.
Or 4,500 full-grown Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I felt like, honestly, I had the same reaction. I was like, that actually puts it in perspective for me.
Yes, exactly.
Like a whole overcrowded high school of T-Rexes.
They wouldn't be able to fit in that high school, babe. Like,
You have to
they
get through
would
the door.
Yeah.
I know. I'm just saying, if the population-wise, it's like an overcrowded high school, but of
If T-Rexes had a high
Tyrannosaurus
school.
Yeah, exactly. See, you can get it.
Oh, man.
Emily's looking at me like I'm insane.
I mean, yeah, but... or 15,000 tongues of a blue whale,
Yep.
which is also the equivalent of 15,000 of the largest bald eagle nest ever recorded, which we mentioned earlier in an
Blast from the
episode.
past.
Blast from the past, yes. Or over 5 million cases of beer.
That's
That I can't fathom.
Yeah, exactly. That one is just...
The T-Rexes, however.
Yeah, that one really is like, oh.
See, the Eiffel Towers got me. The T-Rexes, I was like, oh, that's fun. Dinosaurs.
Yes. So another delicious fungal fact for you all is that scientists estimate that there are over 5 million species of fungi on Earth. And
It's a lot of fun guys.
Sure is. But they also believe that we have only discovered approximately 1% of them.
Gross.
I mean, if you think about it, they mostly live in the mycelium stage, and they
Yep.
only pop out when the conditions are right. So
Yeah.
we don't actually know what's down there.
Yeah.
I don't
and
like
there's
that.
there's so many different kinds too.
Right. I did
Well,
so badly on my
obviously, yeah.
fungus test in biology. It was really bad.
I
They
wouldn't wanna
didn't even
take that,
test me
though.
for that. They
Yeah.
were just like, yeah, you showed up to class. You're good. Here's an A. No, it was really like, oh, you're not wearing flip-flops. Here's an A. But, yeah. So, also, since fungi are responsible for life on land as we know it, humans and fungi also share a common ancestor. In
Yep.
fact, we share nearly 50% of our DNA with
We're half
fungi. Yeah. We're fun guys, you guys.
Yeah, we're such fun guys.
I was
Look
like,
at us.
gotta do this to
Yes.
me.
No,
Yeah. All right. So, Paul Stamets, who is a famous mycologist, which mycology is the study of fungi for anyone who doesn't know, he explained in an article that was by NPR that not only do we share approximately 50% of our DNA with fungi, we also contract many of the same viruses as fungi. He was actually quoted and said, if we can identify the natural immunities that fungi have developed, we can extract them to help humans and other living organisms, such as bees.
bees.
Yes, so he is actually trying to save the bees with fungus, but he was heavily featured in the Fantastic Fungi documentary. But he is pretty amazing and definitely just mind-blowing all the time, and he has... just go to his website and read all of the things, because that was one of the ones where I went back and was like, oh, let me go to his website, and then I read a bunch of stuff and I was like, oh my god, like this is just more than I was prepared for mentally, but you know what you're talking about, it's just wild. And also that's obviously already been proven with what I think is arguably one of the biggest discoveries in modern medicine, which is penicillin, which comes from penicillium. So, yeah, and in that case, it's like the fungus, like, it's fighting off a bacteria, or no, never mind.
Yeah.
Is
Isn't
it?
penicillin an antibiotic?
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay, I was questioning
I know.
myself there. But yeah. I forget what the name of that kind of fungus is. Just a different, they all have different names. There's a bunch out there. So, for all that we have learned and do know about fungi, there's actually a staggering amount that we don't know. Obviously, there's like 5 million different species, and we're like, we've maybe checked out like the first 1%. Millions of years ago, we came from fungi, and when we die and decompose, our bodies are consumed by fungi.
We're just really taking a break out of the fungi life.
Like, my
Pretty
point
much.
really is, like, they are quite literally at the beginning and the end
And throughout our whole lives.
All life.
The alpha and the omega.
Exactly.
You said that in a really creepy voice, though.
I'm here for it. I'm 100% here for it. But yes, exactly. There are even some theories that fungi are the reason Homo sapiens evolved the way that they did. Enter Terence McKenna. In 1992, Terence McKenna proposed the stoned ape theory in his book Food of the Gods. He proposed that the evolution of Homo erectus to Homo sapiens was largely due to the consumption of Psilocybin cubensis, or psilocybin mushrooms. In his theory, he states that due to the desertification of the African continent around 10,000 BCE, humans' early ancestors were forced from their habitat in search of new food sources. He believed that they would have most likely been following large herds of wild cattle whose dung harbored insects that were, quote, undoubtedly part of their diet.
Yeah,
So they're like
love
dig
that.
through the poo?
For bugs,
the
apparently.
fingers.
Yeah. Dig through the poo?
Dig through the poop?
I guess the undoubtedly part of their diet. I was like, really? The bugs in the poop? Okay. Okay. Like,
Okay.
I wonder how they first discovered the bugs in the poop.
I mean, I just have a feeling that times were tough. They were on the hunt or whatever they could. Apparently the cattle was too fast. But the flies were attainable, which have you ever tried to kill a black fly? That is so hard. It's so hard.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. There's
Yeah.
too many of them out here.
Oh, yeah, that's true. And his theory goes on to say that it's very possible that those early ancestors would have spotted mushrooms growing in the dung and began eating those as well. Some people might already know this, but psilocybin mushrooms grow in cattle dung, cow patties.
Yay!
Yes.
Delicious.
Right. So he proposed that the increasing doses of psilocybin would have encouraged the growth and reproduction of the primitive communities, made them better hunters, and argued that psilocybin triggered activity in the language-forming region of the brain. And then this next bit, I'm not gonna lie, is like from Wikipedia, but it was put in such a good way, and there's like 8 sources used in this, and I was like, I love you, Wikipedia, and I donate to you every month, so shout out to them. And also,
Do you really?
You guys should donate too. Fuck yeah, I
She
get
does.
so much information from Wikipedia.
I should do that too.
Oh, you know
I should
how...
do that too. That's fair.
Yeah.
Well, it's like also, it started when we started doing the pod. Yeah, I know, I just breathed really heavily into here. But it started when we started the podcast. That's when I started donating, because I was like, I am using this a lot, and
That
they
makes
keep
sense.
asking for like a quarter, and I just felt I got guilted into it by the internet, but it's not hard.
Got guilted. Yeah.
But also, it's a great source, and I fully believe in it, and I think that it should always be around. I'd be very sad if for some reason Wikipedia just ceased existing. Like, that would, I don't know how I would live personally. It would take me a lot longer to do things, probably. Anyways.
Yeah, it's... I don't know what I would do either.
And then you can't go down the furry hole, Google hole.
You don't have to say that just because she said
You
it.
just have to burrow deeper and deeper into
okay.
it.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Anyways, so quoting from the source, he also pointed out that psilocybin would dissolve the ego and that religious concerns would then be at the forefront of the tribe's consciousness, simply because of the power and strangeness of the experience itself. Therefore, according to McKenna, access to and ingestion of mushrooms was an evolutionary advantage to humans. Also, it provided humanity's first religious impulse. He believed, right? he believed that psilocybin mushrooms were the evolutionary catalyst from which language, projective imagination, the arts, religion, philosophy, science, and of all human culture sprang. In less than 4 million years, a relatively short time in evolutionary terms, the hominid brain grew to 3 times the size that it had achieved in 60 million years of primate evolution. So it was evolving for 60 million years at a pretty steady rate, and then all of a sudden grew 3 times the size.
Gross.
Yes.
I mean, that's cool. So, wait, do you want to hear a funny anecdote?
Yes.
Okay, so I was at work.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know this, but not everybody knows, but I've had issues with IBS recently. Super fun for everyone. And I really could not find any way to, like, keep it under wraps. So I finally started, I think it's psyllium fiber.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Okay. But I was trying to tell somebody at work about psyllium fiber, and my dumbass said psilocybin. And everybody looked at me,
Girl,
and I'm
you
like,
work
wait,
for the
no,
government."
not that one. I was honestly a little surprised that somebody wasn't like, we need to go have you take a drug test, like, right now.
Yeah, me too. I'm very surprised that someone didn't just be like,
Take her to the
Literally,
Like,
like 5
cart
people
you off
turned
to a
around.
padded room. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, no. It's, you can get it at Walmart for like $5. Look it up. But then I realized that I said it wrong, that it was psyllium and not, I think it's psyllium.
Yeah, psyllium, like mycelium.
back.
Yeah, that one.
With
Yeah.
a P.
Not psilocybin.
Oh, yeah, probably with a P.
Yeah,
Silent-
it is.
Silent
Mhm.
P.
Oh, yeah. Yes. That's really
yeah.
funny.
I'm sure everybody at work thinks I'm nutty. That's fine. They already did.
Yeah. Like, I've known you for quite a long time, and I've known you're nutty. In fact, you taught me how to be nutty myself.
Yes.
Yes. All right, so, yes. Many scientists think that language was an adaptation that occurred in very early hominids. And Broca's area, a part of the brain closely associated with language, can even be seen in endocasts of Australopithecus. Got it. But okay. Sorry. But the problem is that the expansion of the brain still occurred later in Homo erectus. For that matter, the same caveat applies to the other hypothesis just mentioned. First tools, the first hunts, the first organized societies all seem to have predated the expansion of the human cerebral cortex.
Color me confused.
Same.
Okay.
Yes, so like that, but okay, so basically what that means is that, you know, Homo erectus was a guy and was, or no, maybe it was, oh yeah, so basically what they're saying is that there was evidence of like development in Homo erectus, but still the brain still grew rapidly after that, and then all of this other culture and all this other stuff kind of added in. So in Terence McKenna's theory, his theory is the stoned ape theory, and that psilocybin triggered that
It's like
to
the catalyst,
happen
yeah.
much faster than it would have happened naturally. But other scientists still think that like it would have occurred over time, but it's like, would we be here having a podcast right now? I don't know. You know, it's just kind of
It's like cool. I don't know, like, why do I find it creepy?
So
'Cause
what
it
I'm
is.
getting is shrooms are good for you.
Well,
one thing that they say in that documentary that I'm trying really hard not to mention is they're like, why would this mushroom like magically match up with all of the synapses in our brain. They're like, why does mycelium react like a brain? Like it fires all these synapses and has the electric impulses. Why would our brains be developed the way that it is, or like react that way, if it wasn't something that we were meant to consume? It's like kind of where they lead you along, and it's interesting.
I gotta watch this.
Yeah. It gets deep real fast. And you know, we're at mycelium, so it's underground. So yes, so psilocybin and other types of fungi have been scientifically proven to contribute to, and this is the really catchy part of like, it seems like it's good for you. Yeah, they've been proven to contribute to neurogenesis, which is the growth or birth of new neurons and new neural pathways. AKA, it literally helps you grow new brain cells, which when I was in school back in Florida, it was like you get a set amount and they die. And that's what they told you.
Right.
And they were like, don't smoke dope, don't drink the drugs.
Don't drink the drugs.
It'll kill off your pretty little head, okay? So, yes. So, speaking of Florida, in 2013, researchers at the University of South Florida investigated this by experimenting on mice using classical conditioning. They conditioned the mice to expect pain when they played a specific sound, which then they conditioned them to fear the sound itself, probably by using not so fun things like hurting them.
Yay!
Yeah. So now the mice are afraid of the sound itself. So they play the sound and the mice like have these panic responses and they're super afraid and they think something terrible is going to happen to them, right? Once the mice were treated with psilocybin, they no longer reacted to the sound with fear.
Yeah, I think that I remember reading articles that they're looking into using psilocybin for PTSD.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes. It is, yeah. It is being used in PTSD studies. It's actually been used in a couple other studies as well that I'm just about to mention. But this treatment... No, you're totally fine.
Jumping the gun.
No! We're very free-flowing. Peace, love, mushrooms. But yeah, so this treatment completely removed their conditioned fear response, which is huge. And it's also interesting to me, like, how the proposed use of psilocybin in ancient cultures is theorized to have greatly contributed to humans' religious beliefs. And it's kind of just interesting. It's just always interesting because it's like, first it's like, okay, so like we evolved from them and then we die and they eat us.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, you know, this. So in the documentary Fantastic Fungi, officially mentioning it now, which is available on Netflix for anyone who would like to stream it, they address how psilocybin is used to treat patients that have been diagnosed with terminal illnesses. However, it has also been used in studies to treat PTSD. And they interviewed 2 patients that were enrolled in a psilocybin treatment program. And both patients described their apprehensions going into the program, but they both describe an overwhelming sense of love and oneness with nature and the world at large after receiving their first few treatments.
So what you're telling me with this comparison and with this, like, interview? I don't know. Account from these people.
Mm-hmm.
Is that fungus is
Among Us.
Okay.
I'm sorry, everybody. Continue.
I was going to say, it almost sounds like fungus is like the physical manifestation of, like, spirit, not to sound corny.
Oh, let's say consciousness.
Yeah, or consciousness, or like something like that.
That is honestly how I was having trouble drawing any other conclusion after doing this research, because especially with considering how the mycelium networks work, it's very much in it.
Like a brain. Yeah.
Yes. Honestly, 10 minutes into that documentary, I was like, so are we mycelium? Like, we go to the mycelium? Is heaven mycelium? Like, it just was...
Ooh.
It just...
That would be a pretty heaven.
Just deep dived off into it, yeah. But yeah, their testimonies, like, were very similar to how one might describe, like, the love and acceptance of a religious deity. It's very clear that it's a very moving and empowering experience for them. They both make a point of expressing, like, how much this experience, like, took away their fear of death, you know, and they're being treated for terminal illness, and they're just, like, so at peace and just, like, feel so whole. And I remember one of them, she goes into it and she's like, you know, and they have someone there with them. They're, like, in a nice room. They're, like, laying on a couch. They have a blanket and they have, like, a blindfold on. And that's just, you know, they're there. And she said that she was, like, seeing all these, like, amazing, like, geometric patterns and things. And she was starting to get scared. And she, like, said in her head, you know, she was like, can you promise me that at the end of this, like, I will still be the same. I'll still be whole. And myself. And what she said she felt she heard back was, do you think I would disrespect my own creation?
Chills.
Oh my god.
Also weird with the fingers.
I know. Boogly wigglies.
Digging through a boob.
Like, dig it.
Oh my god.
Forever gonna use that now. Digging through the book.
That's so crazy, though. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So psilocybin is not the only example of a fungus that contributes to neurogenesis and cellular regeneration. Preclinical studies suggest that lion's mane may reduce inflammation and biological markers of Alzheimer's.
Ooh.
And it has been proven to improve cognition and increase the release of nerve growth factor, which is a protein that can increase the length of nerve cell processes. Mycologist Paul Stamets devoted his career to advancing our understanding of the healing potential of mushrooms, and his work specifically hit home for him when his mother was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. Ooh. The cancer spread to her sternum and to her liver, and it was deemed terminal. She was taken to several specialists. She was told that she was 84 at the time. She was too old for radiation therapy, too old for surgery. And the doctor, you know, recommended clinical trial of turkey tail mushrooms, and that was at the Baxter Integrative Oncology Research Center, and it was also a study that Paul happened to be supplying through his own mushroom cultivation business, which is called Fungi Perfecti. And he actually tells the story of his mother's recovery in a TED Med talk, and that starts at the 750 mark if you look it up online. But in the TED Talk, he addresses when the advanced cancer, when have undergone, you know, extensive chemotherapy, when the advanced stage breast cancer patients have undergone extensive chemotherapy, their immune systems are weakened and their body's natural killer cells are weakened as well. And in cases where patients have taken turkey tail supplements in conjunction with treatment, their immune systems have shown to drastically improve. So she, you know, obviously was like a pretty dire case, and she was, they gave her like 2 drugs, I forget which ones, but he mentions them in the TED Talk video. So she was on medication for it as well, but she was not undergoing any radiation and obviously wasn't having anything surgically removed. And she had like she had like actual like physical, you know, tumors that you could see. Like she was, and it had metastasized to the point where like the third specialist that they saw told her that it was the single worst case of breast cancer that they had ever encountered in 20 years of being in the medical field.
I feel like you shouldn't say that to someone.
That's a good point. It's like weirdly validating, sure, but also like, okay. Like,
that's great. Thanks so much. Love it.
What I want to hear.
I know. I'm just hearing Boys to Men in my head. Like, if someone told me that, I would just hear, like, the end of the road. No, I would just immediately hear Boys to Men, like.
Oh.
Mine
Mine was circus music. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mine was circus music. My whole life is circus music.
Mine was Adele, so.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, okay. God, I love hearing her do interviews.
Me too.
It's just such a stark difference, and she's just like, I just love it so much.
Yep. No, it's the best for sure.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
You guys see the one where she was like, somebody asked, like, what's your body count? And she's like, what? What is that?
No.
No.
What? Oh my God, it's so cute.
No, I just like hearing her talk and being like, you're saying words, right? That's so
They're not depressing?
Oh, no, I just mean her accent.
Oh.
Her accent is very, like,
Very
What is
cockney.
she
Bro,
from,
yeah,
Essex?
offy.
Is she
Yeah.
from Essex?
No, she's
like
from North
some-
London. North London.
Oh, that's southern still.
Tottenham.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I love watching the UK Love Island because you get to hear all of the different, like, dialects from different regions, and it just blows my mind. There's one season where this like bombshell comes out, right? Everyone's all booed up, having a great time, and they do this like sexy dance challenge, so like the girls dance for the guys, and then the guys dance for the girls, or I think it was reversed, like the guys dance for the girls and the girls dance for the guys, and when they think that they were done, this fucking literal supermodel comes out, and she's like dancing all over them. She's gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. Okay, so then they she gets to choose two people to go back on a date with her, right? And you just see her dance and you see how beautiful she is. And when they go back and she opens her fucking mouth, I was like, that's why you're single. Okay, I get it now. Oh my God. I wish I could do it. It's like a hard Newcastle accent, but it's like, she's just like, talking to us and just talking.
Very Geordie.
Yeah.
Yes, low and drawl and very Geordie. And it was just this low, deep voice. And I was like, not at all what I would have expected to come out of that person, but okay.
Good for you, man.
Yeah. Anyways, I digress. So basically, yes. So she was. So it was a weird time to take a tangent. But basically, yes, his mother dying of breast cancer. She was on these two medications, and they told her to take. I know you stop laughing. It's not. It's very serious.
It is. It's just I can't believe that was the tangent we went on.
Honestly, I can't either. I feel really bad when I looked back at my notes and I was like, oh, that's where we left off. Great.
Welcome to our brains, guys.
Yeah. Okay. Now I remember how we got there. Okay. Anyways, yes. So she took 8 capsules of turkey tail, 4 in the morning, 4 at night. Again, she was also on medication, but she started this treatment with the turkey tail in June of 2009, and by February 2012, she had no detectable tumors or cancer cells in her body.
What?
Yes.
That's insane. So is capsules of turkey tail literally just ground up turkey tails? Or
Yes.
is it? Oh, okay. Must taste
Feathers
awful.
and all.
What? Oh, yeah, those taste awful. Better than what?
Feathers
I
and
said
all.
feathers and all.
Oh, God.
Well, because if you've ever eaten an actual turkey tail mushroom, it literally just tastes like wood.
Oh, okay.
Earthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of crazy mushrooms out there, and on Paul Stamets' website for his Fungi Perfecti, he has different supplements and capsules and stuff that you can order and take, and he grows them all himself. Obviously, consult your physician or whatever, be safe about it, but obviously they're mushrooms, so it's are they really gonna do anything to hurt you? They created you, technically.
They might be God. Who knows?
Who fucking knows? Okay, it's just wild. So yes.
That's crazy, though.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pepper in a couple more crazy things before I'm done.
Oh, God.
So
And then I have my crazy thing to pepper into.
oh, good.
Yes.
So the mycelia of fungi literally wrap around the entire globe, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they are where we evolved from over 1 billion years ago, and theoretically, they can live forever. You are walking on top of over 300 miles of mycelia with every step you take.
Stop. I don't...
I calculated my commute, and I'm potentially driving over 300 million miles of mycelia every day.
Stop.
And it just keeps growing,
No.
Now, this vast network of mycelium, as we mentioned, acts as nature's brain, or as Paul Stamets puts it, nature's internet system.
I like that.
It allows but also extra freaky, because I'm like, the internet is wild. It's even crazier than my brain. Like, yikes.
The internet is wild, guys. Did you know?
That to me scared me more than a brain. I was like, oh, okay. And then the internet, I was like, oh. Oh. Yes, so it allows plants to communicate with each other and reaches deep into the earth itself. And as nature's brain, a question came to me. What if it has memories? What if, and this is just my brain having a question. I didn't do any research on this. I know it is scary. What if the quote-unquote memories of ghosts are in mycelium?
So ghosts are just mushrooms?
No, like that maybe like the trauma or events that took place is
I
actually
see.
like information imprinted
oh my God,
on the mycelium itself.
Oh my God. Kind of like the stone tape theory that we talked about, but instead of in the stones, it's in the fungi.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, so-
theory.
Also, though, okay, let's think about it, because most people think that they're dungeons, basements.
Some people have dungeons.
Do it.
But most people think that their basements are the most creepy. But that's also where fungus grows the best.
That is
Yeah, and
true.
closer to the actual earth itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I also was
Oh.
like thinking, I'm like, okay, so what if what we perceive as ghosts, like, is actually the mycelium communicating with us?
No, I don't like that one. Mm-mm.
But like, what if that's how those memories are stored? And it's like, it's like
Oh.
if it, what if it, but like, I mean, I was just thinking, because it's like when you think about ghosts, and obviously, like, this is just like fun speculation for me, and it kind of, when you get to into like elementals and like more darker kind of haunts, I don't know about that, but, maybe they're poisonous mushrooms, but no, it's just, I don't know, it's just when you're thinking about like, okay, it's like, oh, these electrical impulses are happening, they're communicating with plants, like it is a brain, it's the internet of the natural world, like, and thinking about how our brain is and how we perceive things, how children perceive things, like, it's just, I don't know, it was just an interesting thought that I had.
Very interesting.
Oh my God.
My God.
Well, now that we're down the creepy road, do you want me to take you down a more creepy road
Yes.
Yes.
with mushrooms? So, I'm gonna have to turn you guys down because I could hear myself, and it's very distracting. So, if I don't respond to what you're saying, that's probably why.
Okay.
Okay, so have you guys heard, I don't think Emily has, but Armando, have you heard of the game The Last of Us?
Yes.
Oh.
So you know where I'm going with this.
I do.
Is it a zombie game?
So it is a zombie game. So in this zombie game, like most other zombie games, there's like different types, there's like runners and whatever. But this zombie game is interesting because it's not
Not a virus.
created by a virus. Yeah, it's created by a fungus.
What?
Yes. So in this game, which by the way is one of my all-time favorite video games. Also, fun fact, I started playing this game at the beginning of the pandemic, which was very eerie.
Oh
Considering-
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, this is a little too creepy at this point. But it basically, so sorry, I'm bringing up the thing. So yeah, in this video game, you know, a fungus, like, infects humans and creates these, like, monster zombie type things that creates the apocalypse. You know, pretty basic premise, right? Mm-hmm. But this fungus that they used in this game is actually inspired by a real fungus.
Man, I was going to talk about this.
Oh
So,
my god.
here, I'm going to read you a little bit. Okay, because this is important. So, the most iconic enemies in this video game don't appear as traditional zombies. Clickers, which are really annoying in the video game. Yeah, I saw the uncomfortable twitch there.
Yeah, I'm just like, I don't...
Clickers are created when humans are infected with a mutated form of fungus called Cordyceps. Did I say that right?
Cordyceps, yep.
Yep, Cordyceps. Over time, an infected human loses brain function and becomes a zombie-esque creature referred to as a stalker before eventually mutating into a clicker. While the clickers retain a humanoid shape, the body begins to manifest outward signs of the fungal infection, with the head in particular becoming completely warped.
Is this a real fungus that can do this?
Yes.
I'm going to talk about it.
Yeah, really? Okay. I'm very excited. But yeah, in real life, Cordyceps is a parasitic fungus that attacks bugs, taking control of their bodies and replacing the tissue over time. Specifically, it's with carpenter ants in like a forest. So it'll infect an ant. The ant will be forced to like crawl up a tree to a specific place by the fungus, and then like growth comes out at the top, and then it emits spores to infect other bugs to do the same thing.
Yes. Yeah. They mention they do mention something like that.
Oh really? In the documentary? Yeah, and the eerie, it's just very eerie, and it's also like extra creepy because it's based on a real fungus. Yeah, it takes over the nervous system, and the ant becomes its like puppet.
Okay.
Like a literal zombie.
I know I say this a lot, but this reminds me of an episode of Fringe. There's an episode of Fringe where, like, a kid becomes, like, bonded with a fungus in this, like, cave. He'd, like, been bullied, and, he goes into this cave and, like, starts drawing, and there's this, like, fungus all up in the walls and stuff, and he, like... So, again, with, like, the whole mycelium communicating with us thing, it, like... And obviously this is an episode of a sci-fi show, but, like, still... he like bonds with it and like talks to it, and he says like it's talking back to him, and then at one point his bullies follow him into the cave, and he like gets mad, and the fungus reacts to protect him, and it infects only those kids, and it doesn't infect him.
Interesting.
Yes. Anyways, that's my little Fringe mention.
No, yeah, that was just my little tidbit, because that really creeped me out. Because it could be real, and it's my favorite video game. But what were you going to tell us about it, Armando?
Very great segue. So, basically, if you're walking through a forest and you're seeing all these plants and all the critters running around, sometimes on some of these plants, you are seeing other plants growing on said plants. Basically, my topic is parasitic plants as a whole.
Ooh! I like this.
So in science, there are two things that I super enjoy, and that's plants and parasites. I actually thought about going into parasitology back in high school, but then I went the plant route. Yeah.
Wow.
What? That actually is a really good segue.
That was a great segue.
Right?
I'm proud of all of us.
But before I do the actual plants, let's talk a little bit about the cordyceps, just because that's an even better segue because we're just talking about fungi. So they are an ascomycete fungi. So ascomycetes basically mean that the spores, when they are being created inside the mushroom, they are created in sacs. Because there are some types of mushrooms that don't grow their spores in sacs. And that's like a way to like describe, apparently. But the best way to see it is under a microscope, unfortunately. Most cordyceps species are endoparasitoid, and usually that's basically mean they're internally parasitic, and they're mainly only parasitic on insects and other arthropods.
Okay.
And so the way that cordyceps work is basically attacking the host with the mycelium that they produce. So the spores will land on the host, and then basically they start breaking it down through mechanical pressure through the mycelium trying to break through the exoskeleton, as well as enzymes. So they're basically digesting the outside of the insect. Yeah, basically.
Oh my god.
But they don't fully digest that because they need the insect in order to actually fulfill its life cycle, right? So they're not going to fully kill off the insect right away. Eventually, as the spores go in, it turns sort of into a yeast stage because then it spreads all throughout the insect's body. And presumably produce compounds that affect the ants, like neural pathways, essentially.
Right. Yeah, because I literally, when you said that, I was like, what would that do to you? Would you be drunk on yourself?
Would you be drunk on yourself?
Well, honestly, that's actually a good way to describe it, because if we've ever seen an ant get essentially possessed by this fungus, like their behavior changes completely. And usually thinking ants, when a worker ant sees an ant start to behave like that, they literally pick it up and just run it outside and throw it away.
Yeah, I was doing that too.
Yep. Because like you can see the weird like behavior. It starts to like kind of curl up in itself. It's like rubbing its face a ton. It's very, very weird. There
like
is
a zombie.
Yeah, basically. There is a video on YouTube. Of course, it's Sir David Attenborough talking about it.
We love him.
Love it. And he does such a good job, obviously. And like you see it happening, and you're just like, yeah, that's not how an ant behaves. You know, it's and it's incredibly creepy.
So they actually they talk about this with termites. And about how the termites like react, and like I think one of the cases might have been similar to that, but then there was another one where like because they like would throw out the termite and basically kill it, but then there was another one where they would like kill it and then kill themselves to just extra protect the colony. But they were actually using that and studying it as like a organic form of pesticide.
Oh,
that was like their
interesting
purpose in studying it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, just a little tidbit in there.
The behavior seems incredibly erratic when the cordyceps take over, but it's actually very specific convulsions that sort of tell the other insects, if you will, that this is what it is. And that's how they're able to figure it out, because it's like certain ways the body moves and convulses and such. And the behaviors are tuned.
I don't like these words.
I know. We're both making like square mouth faces.
I thought I didn't like clicker, and I'm like, this is this ant a clicker? Well, I don't like it. I'm glad I'm not an ant right now.
Exactly.
I know.
Oh, but I am. Sorry.
That took me a hot second to realize where you were going with that. I'm like, how are you an ant now? The behaviors are tuned for the benefit of the fungus in terms of its growth and the transmission, thereby increasing the fitness of the fungus, but really decreasing the fitness of the ant.
Yeah, that's so creepy, man. Like,
Yeah.
how does that do that? It just weirds
Right?
me out.
I was trying to figure out like I was deep diving into quite a few scientific research journals, and I couldn't find the actual mechanism of like, so how does the
How it like connects?
how it connects. I couldn't figure it
Yeah.
out. But then
Okay.
thinking about what Ray's topic with, like our neural pathways being similar to fungi mycelium, I have a feeling it just kind of sort of like slides right in.
Yikes! I don't like it.
Like a 3.5-inch floppy disk.
Oh god.
I thought you were gonna say something else.
Me
but
too.
I'm not like,
Wow, you guys both just like. Calm down.
So anyway, then the insect starts to climb up the stem of a plant and uses the mandible basically to secure itself to a leaf vein. Once it reaches its destination, and then it tries to climb up as high as possible, but from what I'm reading, the fungus basically doesn't let the ant last long enough in order for it to get high enough, like really high into the canopy. So it's about what I've read was like only 26 meters above the forest floor is how high this ant gets to go. But if you think about an ant, that's actually a pretty far.
pretty high.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is pretty far.
But generally, in an environment with about 94 to 95% humidity and temperatures between 20 and 30 degrees Celsius, so like 68 to 86 Fahrenheit, that's usually like the ideal conditions for this fungus. So
So it's like it's like turns this little ant into its own zombie Uber.
yes,
It's exactly where it wants to go,
yes,
and
exactly.
then kills it.
Mind control is real.
But then eventually the fungus. So this is how I think it differs from sort of where Last of Us comes in, is because the fungus then eventually kills the ant because it needs to sprout the fruiting body in order to actually spread the spores to do the purpose that the cordyceps actually took over. And fun fact, there are thousands of different types of cordyceps, and there are some,
that.
and I think quite a few of them basically like only has one type of insect or arthropod that it attaches to.
I saw one that specifically attacks tarantulas, and it looks creepy as fuck when it. Luckily, it just kills it. It doesn't brain control it, but it looks like weird corally stuff just like grows out of
Yeah.
the tarantula.
Yeah, cordyceps
So
are really
crazy.
really cool. They're really cool to look at too.
So they only attack bugs.
And arthropods. Technically, tarantulas are not bugs.
Right. Right. But like my skeleton is inside. Am I safe?
Who knows? Because we're all related because we share the DNA with fungus, anyways.
Right. And I mean, if you think about it, all it takes is one mutation, and there
Okay,
are,
I don't like that. Though.
and there are
I'm just like, I don't want to think about that.
and there are
actually.
thousands of different types of cordyceps.
Oh.
Wait, isn't there a level in the evolution of the cordyceps in The Last of Us that explodes to
Probably.
so that it?
I've never
so that
played
it-
the game.
Oh, okay. I'm pretty sure there's one there's different types of zombies, but they're all like different stages of infection / evolution. But I'm pretty sure there's one of the last phases where it like explodes when there's other prey, quote unquote, around, so it can infect them and then continue the process.
Like a little spore sack.
Basically.
It's great.
Have you guys ever heard of the girl with all the gifts?
No.
Okay, I have, but I haven't read it yet.
It's a book and it's also a movie.
Oh, is
They
it?
turned it into a movie.
I'm scared.
I don't know if I've watched clips or I'm just having a hard time remembering half of the movie. But essentially, without giving away too much, It is the end of civilization, essentially. It is the apocalypse, and it's all done because of a cordyceps. And if you watch it, the way that the cordyceps basically like take over humans, you're just like,
Dig through the poop.
dig through the poop. It is.
This is no longer the typing, action. This is the dig through
Dig
the
through
poop
the
action.
Yeah.
So if you have a chance, you should totally watch and or read The Girl with All the Gifts. It was
I was just about to try to type it, but I'm typing in the wrong spot.
Yeah, that book is actually on my list.
With all of the gifts or all the gifts?
Girl
the
with
Gifts.
All the Gifts.
That sounds
not
really
gifts.
creepy and I'm scared.
Not gifts.
Wait.
The Girl with All the Gifts.
Gift?
Gifts.
Yeah, I was
yes,
making a
that's what I was
joke.
typing.
I
Okay.
know, I was a joke. God. Okay, but how... It's creepy to think about, but how, like, fitting would it be if the apocalypse was brought about by a fungus?
I mean, I
They
feel
were like, we gave you life. We're going to take it away. now.
We're going
I
to
feel
take
like
it
it
away. You
makes
guys
sense.
fucked it up.
Yeah.
Your 7-day trial is up.
I've been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty. But the only thing I would say about that is that they don't mutate as fast as a virus or a bacteria, So I feel like
They're
just
still evolving,
I
technically.
mean, they're still evolving, but they don't evolve as fast as those single-celled
Right.
organisms that we know. And so
Right.
they have a higher chance of stumbling upon that mutation, in my opinion.
Yay.
Although cordyceps are already halfway there, technically.
Yeah. I know, you're going to give me and Ray nightmares. That's what's going to happen.
I'm literally like, we made it through 2020, and I was like looking forward to like the future a little bit more than I was last year.
It's going to be full of mushrooms.
Yeah. All right.
Sounds more fun when you say it like that, though.
It does.
That's true. But then in that vein, a lot of people always do mistake mushrooms as plants. And as Ray has said, they are technically in their own kingdom now. Before they were put into the plant kingdom. But obviously with how genetics has been, they are now fully in their own full kingdom. And they are much more genetically similar to animals and people as they are to plants.
But see, that also creeps me. Sorry, continue.
Well, think about a
I don't
banana.
know why.
I think banana shares almost 98% or something like that. I could
I'm a banana.
Yeah. I could be totally making
Banana.
I'm totally making up those numbers, I think. But it's like something incredibly high and just like, are you kidding?
Wait. How much DNA do we
It's
share
probably not 90. I want to say it's actually like 76, but
with bananas? 60%.
damn. So we have more in common with a banana than a mushroom. Cuz you said 50%.
This shit is bananas, y'all.
Shut up.
Oh god. Okay. So, in a nutshell, with parasitic plants, they basically absorb some or all of the nutrients it needs from another living plant. They make up about 1% of angiosperms or flowering plants and can be found pretty much anywhere in the world. Just like other plants, they do have roots. However, they have a special kind of root as well called a haustoria. Haustoria penetrate the host plant and then connect with the conducting tissue, so xylem and phloem, basically like their blood vessels, basically tapping into the plant's life source, if you will.
What?
Think like a leech
Wow.
on an animal.
But it's
So
a plant
leech
on a
plant.
plant.
It's a plant on a plant.
I had no idea that even existed.
Oh yeah.
It's a leech on a leaf. A leaf leech on a leaf.
Oh, I was going to try and combine leaf with leech, and it's just leech.
Leaf. Yeah, it's just leech.
Or leaf.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my
so-
gosh.
There are different types of plants that are technically called epiphytic, where they grow on a plant, but they basically just use that plant in order to support itself. They don't take the roots and put it into the actual conductive tissue like actual parasitic plants.
So parasitic plants kill their hosts eventually?
So if you're defining parasitic, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Things like ivies or pothos and those kinds of things, they don't actually dig into, it's usually trees.
Trees,
So
they just hang
Right.
on.
they kind of
Yeah.
just hang on. And they're kind of just like, they will dig into the tree, but it's only on like a surface level. You could totally take it out pretty easily.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay.
So when you're classifying parasitic plants, you could do it in a few ways. So are they obligate, where they can't complete the life cycle without a host, or facultative, where it can be, the majority, like 99% of the time it's on a host, but there's that 1% where they can live without it. Then you could break it down even further into a stem or root parasite, so basically where it attaches.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can go even further with hemiparasitic or holoparasitic. So hemiparasitic lives as a parasite but remains photosynthetic, so they can still produce their own food to a certain degree. They basically just obtain like the water, the minerals and stuff from a different plant. And then there's holoparasitic, where they get everything from the host plant. Usually with holoparasitic plants, they don't have any chlorophyll, so they are not green.
So then, what makes them a plant?
So in order to be a plant specifically an angiosperm, you need to be able to produce a flower and a seed.
Oh, I did not know that was the definition of a plant. See? It was a good question. It wasn't dumb.
It was a good question. It was just cute the way you asked it. I didn't know either. I was like, we're talking about plants, but yet they don't
How do they not photosynthesize?
I am literally like, my mind is all over the back of that wall right now.
There is a certain plant that I'm going to talk about where like I'm assuming people first thought it was a mushroom, but it turns out it produces a seed. So, but the
Okay.
most
Wow.
famous example of a parasitic plant is in the order I can never say this, Santalales, aka mistletoe.
Shut up.
What?
Mistletoe is a parasitic plant?
Yep, they
Just like love. Anyway.
Coming in hot. Also, I'm like, kisses without consent. I don't know. I just
Parasites.
feel like there was a lot of.
It's because
I
they're a
just feel
parasite.
Well,
are exactly.
Also, Armando, I just loved your reaction. That made me so happy. Thank you.
So mistletoe are
I can't
obligates.
believe that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because they are obligate stem hemiparasites. So they require to be on a host basically the entire time in order for it to part of it, hemi part.
Okay.
Because there is a part of the growth cycle, if you will, where it will plant into the soil, grow its roots, but then as it reaches a host, basically those roots die and the hostorium take over into the tree. Usually it's a tree, or sometimes a shrub, but normally it's a tree.
Okay, I'm
just
like
like,
really
it's-
weirded out that like the quote unquote love mistletoe plant is a fucking parasite
But it also
that
like,
literally
makes
sucks the life out of
sense.
another plant.
Oh yeah, I mean, come on.
Love.
But like, now it's making sense to me when you're like, when people like, okay, so you're hanging mistletoe like from like a door frame or something, but it's like mistletoe literally just like used to randomly hang from like a tree that it had no business, or like, I mean, but it's just like random. So, wow, I never knew that. That's so crazy.
And usually with mistletoe, they can still photosynthesize.
Because they're green.
They're
right?
usually green, yeah, but
Yeah.
for the most part, in some species, actually, some species are yellow. They basically the photosynthetic contribution is basically zero. So I mean, with a yellow plant, there are still some wavelengths of light that you can use in order to photosynthesize with yellow, but for the most part, it's so zero that it basically doesn't matter.
I feel like, I swear to God, every single episode, I'm like, my education failed me so much. I'm
Yeah.
like, plants, photosynthesis. Like, that's photosynthesis.
That's what plants do.
Like, that's what plants do. Chlorophyll green, water good, sun cloudy. That's it. Like,
Well, when did we graduate high school?
2009, 2007.
2011.
Wow, calling me out like that. Ah,
Oh, wow, yeah. So we're really old school now.
No, but if you think about it, there's been so many scientific discoveries from even when I left school to now.
Right.
You know?
Okay, but I just took a freaking human anatomy and physiology class where we learned about fucking cells. And they just talk about plant cells, and all plant cells have photosynthesis. Or, the chlorophyll or whatever. Obviously, I did not pay much attention. But still, they still had that classified as, plant cells always have this. Animal cells always have that.
There's just so much more. There's always so much more out there, But yes, this is so interesting. I'm like, I can't believe this.
And they're incredibly recognizable, especially in winter, because usually they're gonna. I mean, I have seen mistletoe in conifers, evergreen trees, but when they are in deciduous trees, you just see this gigantic, like, spherical mass of green, sometimes yellow, but like this just in the tree itself.
In the winter, you've seen it up here?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. I remember one year in college, I was helping my best friend's family pick out a Christmas tree, and we found this really, really pretty white fir, and on the back of it was this gigantic lump of mistletoe. Yeah.
Yeah, Ray, I just sent you a picture of the mistletoe.
I know. That's.
Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy. I did look up a picture, because now I'm thinking, I'm like, wow, would I recognize that in a tree, or would my mind just be like, oh, it's just a bird's nest, but it's like snowy outside, all the leaves are gone, and yet that one splooch is green,
Right.
So weird. Oh wow.
Funny enough, the actual parasitism of the mistletoe usually isn't what kills the tree. It's the fact of if the infestation is massive enough, it just gets so heavy that the tree just topples over. Yeah.
That is crazy.
Because it's just a big ball of intertwined plant matter.
Yeah.
But does it grow into the tree?
Parts of it, yeah. So
But not that deep.
Not that well. It has to grow
Gotta get
enough.
In those veins.
Right. It has to grow enough that it attaches to the plant. So, say a big gust of wind comes, it doesn't get knocked off.
Right.
But they are a stem parasite, so they're gonna basically lodge into any part of the stem or the trunk.
Okay.
And then they kind of just mass out more from there.
My God, I can't believe that. The origins of mistletoe. Very timely.
Yeah, right?
Basically, so after it roots and everything, they do produce seed still. So they'll produce the very typical berry that we know because, capitalism. And the nice thing about mistletoe is actually a lot of birds eat mistletoe, so they are actually a very good food source for a lot of migrating birds. So that is usually how they're spread. So eat seed, land on tree, poop it out.
I was gonna say poop.
And then
Poop it out.
yeah.
Question.
Yes.
Is mistletoe native to any specific area?
Yeah, there's a few species. There's quite a few species. I think it's 102.
Wow.
I think. I'm not 100% sure on that number. But there's European varieties and then there's North American varieties. Basically, wherever there's a tree, that's all it basically needs is a tree.
Interesting.
I don't know what I thought about mistletoe before tonight.
I was gonna say,
but it was not much.
Yeah, all I can picture is for some reason the Muppets Christmas Carol. So
I just picture that little fake bunch they sell at Hobby Lobby with a little ribbon tacked around it, and you just tack it up somewhere. Mm-hmm. But
you just tack it.
You just
capitalism.
Tack it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it never ever occurred to me that there was not only a ton of species all over the place, and that I could just find it places.
Mm-hmm. Funny enough, a lot of people that will advertise as mistletoe, they actually use holly.
Disappointing.
Right. So you'll see the spiky leaves and the red berries. I think it's the red berries that people assume with mistletoe, not necessarily the leaves. The leaves are sort of they have really long stems with a little tiny leaf that's about yay big. Here is AirPod case for.
Oh,
Yeah.
for scale.
Yeah, for scale. Yeah. So like the leaves and such don't actually elicit the image of mistletoe. Usually, it's the berries.
Yeah.
I always thought mistletoe had white berries.
There are some that do have white berries.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was
So-
really hoping you would just tell her she was crazy.
That's what I have you for.
Closest thing to a twin.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. My little Libra Virgo.
So I chose mistletoe specifically because I know that it does grow in the northeast region of the United States. And then I dove into New Mexico State University College of Agricultural, Consumer, and Environmental Sciences website because I found one that is only, I found a specific species that only lives in Santa Fe County in New Mexico.
Of
Santa
mistletoe
Fe.
or of like parasitic plant?
Of a parasitic plant.
Ooh, yes, love it.
So overall, there is a genre of plant called Cascada, commonly known as dodder. Dodder.
Oh, I was like...
Yeah. Technically, children are parasites.
Technically, Evie doesn't photosynthesize. And neither do we, actually.
I mean, if you think about a baby growing inside the uterus,
They're a parasite. Yeah.
they're a parasite.
Oh, hardcore.
You don't even have to say they're a parasite. If you think of, like, that first part, if you think of a baby growing in the uterus, like, trust me, already there. Already there.
Ray's like, no, I'm not gonna.
I'm terrified.
I was gonna say, I think I remember one time specifically when I was pregnant with Evie, and she was like moving around so much, my whole stomach was moving, and you were like so freaked out.
It is. I mean, it's weird. It is
weird
when like a baby starts to kick from the inside because you just feel like the skin like moving a little bit.
Well, no, like I was sitting there and I was talking to everybody, and you could literally see my whole stomach like shift.
Oh.
And yeah. You don't remember that?
I'm pretty sure I blocked that out of my memory for survival. But also, that and like preeclampsia and like how it can change how your own blood is like reacted to in your body. It's terrifying.
I had preeclampsia, and then and then after having Evie, that's how I had RA.
I know.
Oh.
Yeah, it's great.
A lot of weird
Kids are
things
great, guys.
can happen when you have kids. Like I had this one lady come in. She's very talkative, and she came in and was talking about her son, and her son is like really cute. Actually, he reminded me a lot of Evie. Anyways, so she's just talking. She's just going a mile a minute, and we were like giving them samples of popcorn, and she was like, I went to go offer her one. She goes, "No, I can't have any. It will go it'll rot. My teeth will fall out." And I was like, "I'm sorry," and like kind of took it back, and she was like, "Yeah, it's because of him. When I was pregnant with him, he took all of the nutrients from my bones, and now my teeth are basically falling out of my mouth." And I was like, "He's very
Fun fact
cute."
that not everybody else needs to know, that also happened to me. Not all of the teeth, but yeah, it was
It's
not
just
fun.
a tough time. It's like, that's the thing when people are like, "Ooh, babies, cute." First of all, the baby part only lasts for like a year, and then you're like raising a full ass person. And second of all, like that does so much shit to a person's body. And that is not talked about enough, in my opinion. I do make a point of mentioning it as
I
often as
actually, I was going to say, there's so many more things I could mention that people don't talk about enough because I was very upset that everybody's like, "Oh my God, it's so cute, you're going to have a baby." And I was like, this horrible thing is happening to me and nobody fucking mentioned it.
Right.
I'm not going to talk about it
some
because
people like
some of it's very gross. But
love
still,
being pregnant.
I could never identify. People who love being pregnant must be aliens. I'm sorry.
There's
Like, it has to-
I feel like there's like a certain species, a certain breed of person that like can just pop them out.
Right.
I mean, this one guy I worked with, he is like one of 12, I'm pretty sure.
Oh my God. No.
And they are all very close in age, which means that for over a decade, his mom was pregnant.
Was just pregnant.
And I remember when he told me that, and I was like, is she okay? Like, how
I was gonna
is
say,
she?
do you remember how much I hated it? Like, guys, don't get me wrong. I love Evie.
Obviously, yes,
but
we all do.
I absolutely hated being pregnant.
The process itself, yeah.
It was just none of it was great.
Well,
it was all
and it's
terrible.
like after knowing what mom went through when she was pregnant with you, and then also knowing, like, obviously your experience, it's like that has also terrified me personally, because I'm like, well, I share a lot of their DNA, so I can't exactly be confident that my experience would be
Same
any
amount
different.
as a mushroom.
Exactly. Oh, fuck.
This is why I'm glad I'm gay and a male. All right.
It's understandable.
Yeah.
That was a tangent, too.
Yeah. Also, apparently...
Children are parasites.
Oh,
Anyways.
yes.
That is true. Babies are parasites.
Yes. Apparently that guy's mom is okay, and she's thriving, and that is one of the people that can just do that.
Is she a psychopath, though?
She seems to be okay.
Turnstile.
Or like lazy
Just
Susan.
the lazy Susan.
I was like, is that what we're doing?
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, babies just popping out. It's like a turnstile.
Yeah. Oh, like
Mm.
I got it. I'm there with you. I know what that word means. Goodbye.
I know what that word means.
Or revolving door. That might be a little better.
Yeah. I don't like that.
You sound like a
wow.
Thermian.
Yeah, I know. I realized that after. It was just a gut reaction.
Okay, my last leg of this tangent. Armando, have you ever seen Galaxy Quest?
Not in a very long time.
What?
I need to watch it again. There's a lot of movies. I have a very long list of movies that, like, I haven't watched yet, and a list of movies that it's been too long.
It's silly. I definitely recommend everyone watch it for the silliness. And that's all.
I remember it being very fun.
Yes.
So
Alan Rickman.
definitely have to watch it again.
Sigourney Weaver. Oh, the guy from Monk. Tony Shalhoub.
There we go. Tony Shalhoub.
Sam Rockwell.
Guy.
Yep, Sam Rockwell.
Sam Rockwell, yeah. There we go.
Anyways.
All right.
Big tangent over.
From human parasites to plant parasites. So we're talking about daughter.
Oh, that's where we went off. Yep.
Cascada. So basically, what's fun about this, it basically resembles a pile of orange-yellow string that's entangled amongst plants. They usually prefer low-lying herbaceous plants, and they basically like vine all amongst these plants. They don't have any leaves.
What do they look like?
Is it kind of like Spanish moss?
You're Spanish
No.
moss.
Oh, no, it's not.
Yeah,
Dodder
Dodder.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
It looks like a tentacle.
Oh, but they're so
Basically.
cute. I do love the, what are they, tendrils?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah. So basically the entire like stem of the plant, if you will, is essentially a huge tendril, and they end in these white little flowers. They do start off life in the ground, but then once they find a plant to grow on, it starts to wrap itself around and entangling itself onto the plant. It then grows the haustoria, and the original soil root dies. What's fun is that dodder in general can grow onto multiple plants at once. So usually with mistletoe, they're usually just in that one tree, but with the vining habit of dodder, they just spread amongst all of the herbaceous vine plants, and they can spread onto trees.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm just like looking at the little tendrils like sticking into.
Mm-hmm. If left
I keep
untreated,
doing that, but it's just like
like the claw. If left untreated, or if the plant moves fast enough, it can take over an entire area and destroy all the plants in that area.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
I kind of wish that I could bring it to Clovis so it could take care of our. We have those highly terrible. I think it's ragweed. I don't know, but they have the really pokey
Like the
seeds.
spurs?
the sand spurs, whatever, goat heads, spiky things. I hate them.
Yeah.
I mean, but obviously that would destroy everything else too.
Usually the host plant will die though before it does spread. So that usually doesn't happen, but it does have the potential to do that. Because like I haven't seen daughter, because we do have daughter. I shouldn't say we anymore because I don't live in New York, but there is daughter in New York.
Aww.
I know.
I shouldn't say aw, right? It's probably invasive, is it?
No, they're native.
Interesting.
They're just parasitic. Yeah.
Wow, daughter, and it has like an orange vine.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the one from Santa Fe, but that's just crazy.
The one from Santa Fe specifically is Cascada fasciculata. Oh, I hate the S and the C's next to each other.
Cascada.
So Cuscuta, then fasciculata.
Yeah.
Fasciculata. So that's the one that's specifically only in Santa Fe County. It is called the Santa Fe daughter.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Dude, nature is wild.
It sure is.
And then
I didn't even do that on purpose. I'm ashamed.
then one
Wish I
more,
had.
because this one is my favorite parasitic plant. It is called Monotropa uniflora, also called the ghost plant, ghost pipe, or Indian pipe.
What?
Look up a picture.
You said ghost plant?
Ghost plant or ghost pipe.
Ooh, whoa.
Ooh, monotropa? Is that what you said?
Monotropa uniflora.
It's kind of like a creepy undead lily of the valley.
Yeah, I like it.
So they're so cool. And so like people, I'm sure before they realized it's seeds, I'm sure people thought that this was a fungus because they grow in these clusters generally at the base of trees.
They seriously look like little ghosts of plants.
Yeah, they do.
So fun.
Wait, it glows in the dark? Oh, grows in the dark. Sorry.
It can grow in the dark. These are native to basically temperate regions around the world. So Asia, North America, and northern South America. They're completely white. Sometimes they can be a little pale pink or have black flecks, but for the most part, they're usually just all white.
That's so
they are,
cool.
They look so
know.
They're mycoheterotrophic, meaning their hosts in particular are fungi.
We really came full circle here.
I know.
What is going on? This is crazy. This is awesome. I love this.
And then, more specifically, it's the mycorrhizae in trees. So the mycorrhizae is what you were talking about with the mycelium, where they talk to each other. The mycorrhizae is the specific fungi that they have found in the roots of plants.
So when you like pull a plant out of the ground and you see the hyphae, is that mycorrhizae?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. And so basically, the ghost plant gains all of its nutrients from the tree via the mycorrhizae, basically. Because the mycorrhizae go into the tree itself and helps. So some things that the mycorrhizae help with is a lot of like nutrient uptake as well. And so they are basically fed right into the roots of the trees or plants. And what the ghost plant has done is basically tapped into the mycorrhizae in order to get the nutrients from the tree through it.
Dude, that's crazy.
So interesting.
Mm-hmm. And the scientific name basically tells you a lot about the plant itself. Monotropa uniflora. The stem bears one flower. So one stem, one flower.
I like how you explain that like everybody should know that.
No, but it makes so.
And then you say it, and then I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yes. It's weird how like Latin. Is that Latin?
This one is Latin, yeah.
Okay, I was like, it's weird how like sometimes it does. When you break it down, you're like, oh, I guess my brain kind of like recognized that, but not out.
Until you get into the Greek names or the Japanese names, and those just get so confusing. Yeah, because there are a lot of there are a lot of scientific names that are Greek based or Japanese based, and it's very confusing after a while.
I didn't know there were ones Japanese based. That's interesting.
I think one is Pseudotsuga menziesii, which is Pseudotsuga. Oh man, what is the actual common name? This is gonna bother me. I gotta look it up.
I love how you know like the actual names of these things.
I know.
Douglas fir. Douglas fir.
Shut the front door.
Yeah.
Wow. How do you say it?
Pseudotsuga menziesii.
Pseudotsuga menziesii.
Wow. Sounds like a vocal stem for me.
Well, so tsuga is supposed to be like for firs, I think, or hemlocks. And so Douglas firs look like a type of hemlock, but they're not.
Dude, these are like the coolest. I think I have a new favorite plant.
Aren't they so cool?
Yeah, they're really cool.
And since it's devoid of chlorophyll,
Flora, yeah.
it can grow in really unique places where they don't need any light at all. So as long as the plant itself has access to mycorrhizal fungi, the plant will grow wherever it can.
That's so crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's my topic on parasitic plants.
They're so insane. Like, they are beautiful. And also, this was a great topic. Like,
Yeah, I love how they meshed so well together.
Right?
I know.
No planning either. So if you're ever walking in the forest, specifically more for Ray because they grow mostly in temperate zones, you know how people say, oh, moss grows on the north side of the trees because they can't grow in the sun?
Uh-huh.
That's a load of bullshit.
Okay, I heard that.
Yep, that's not real. But with these particular plants, you're more likely to find them in really darker areas because they're one of the only few things that can grow there. So if you're looking at trees with very heavy canopy...
I was going to say, it makes me want to crawl into some dark spaces.
I know. It's like a true little ghost plant.
Yeah. Yeah, so...
Thriving in the creepy areas.
Right. And like the dark side of trees, which in the northern hemisphere would be the north side of the tree, that's where you're more that's where you're more likely to find them. But if you're in a forest that's like an evergreen forest, usually the canopy of evergreen forests are so thick that no light really can get through to the bottom. Usually you'll find those in there too.
That's really awesome. I wish I could have one.
I'm so thrilled about this.
I'm like, should I get a ghost flower tattoo?
I am literally it's white, so
now.
I'm like, how would... Okay, but anyways.
Stylized. Anyways.
Okay. Yeah, now I just want to go looking for all of the things. This is insane. This was honestly this was mind blowing. This was a really great, fucking great topic. Shit.
Yeah.
I can't even talk.
I feel like I've been sitting with my eyebrows raised.
I know. I have no idea what my face looks like this whole time.
I'm just like.
I mean, so to be fair, I've been staring either directly at the camera or my notes because I did notice you guys your faces as I was talking. I'm like, okay, I have to focus.
We're very expressive people.
I know, and I love that I can see it now rather than just listening to it.
Yeah, no, it's fully here. That's just literally wild. Also, if it grows, technically, if it's parasitic of the fungi.
Poor fungi.
I'm just how does it affect that network? You know what I mean?
Maybe it's just tapped into the network.
Yeah.
It's like an antenna.
Also, it makes me think of the movie Avatar, that terrible movie Avatar.
What was it? Huh?
Oh, the one with the blue people.
I mean, besides it being a remake
people.
of Pocahontas, but...
And Ferngully.
Yeah, I mean, it isn't great. It was okay. Anyways.
But
and Ferngully.
It would be basically, putting the ponytail into all the things.
And it kind of looks like fungi, too, like little fungi tendrils. Yeah.
Ooh, a fun fungus for you guys to look up, octopus stinkhorn.
What?
Ooh, what?
octopus stinkhorn.
All right.
It's happening.
Yep. I don't want the ghost plant to leave my... Wait, what is it? What is it? Monotropa uniflora. Love that.
This rolls off the tongue, right?
Octopus.
Woohoo! I want one.
Yeah.
Stinkhorn.
Stinkhorn octopus.
Dude, it looks like a fucking octopus.
That's a mushroom.
What? Okay,
That's a fucking
I have
mushroom.
seen this before, but like... Oh, sorry. That was a noise, but yeah. Okay, yes.
And they smell awful.
I
Oh, I don't want that.
You
but
know,
it looks pretty.
honestly, it looks like it smells awful. But also the name is Stinkhorn, so I'm gonna.
Smells like a corpse.
Oh, so it's sweet.
That's what you got from that?
Listen, I listen to enough random true crime podcasts, and you know
Not-
how much
not
they always
recently
talk
deceased.
about how it's like the sweet smell of death, and I'm like, guys, you're really grossing me out.
Oh, guys, do you want to... Well, Ray already knows, but fungi fact about me?
Yes.
Sorry, your face.
I'm like,
Whew.
what do I already know?
No, I like making
Oh,
different
yeah.
types of mushrooms from Sculpey. And then I put them in little terrariums.
From
You have one to
Sculpey?
show us?
Let me go get one.
Yeah, hurry.
Sculpey. What is Sculpey?
It's a type of...
Explain what Sculpey is.
Yes.
It's a polymer clay.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Like I wasn't gonna explain it or something. Literally about to explain it. Yes, it's a type of polymer clay, and you bake it, and you make cool things with it. People actually often, I've been seeing a lot on TikTok and like Instagram, like people making like earrings out of it, where they like fold in a bunch of different colors, but they don't completely mix them together, and then they slice off.
Okay. I know
Yeah.
exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Exactly what you're talking about.
Also, for anyone who like didn't, it's also called the devil's fingers fungus, the octopus stinkhorn. Yikes! And that checks out. You guys should look that up. Clathrus archery. How do I spell that? How do you
Okay.
say that?
Let me look it up.
Is that what it is? Clathrus.
Oh, that is so
archery.
cute.
Right? Isn't it really cute?
Oh my god. I love that.
And they're actually iridescent. I also made ones that were glow in the dark, but I sold them.
Nice.
And then this is my more recent one.
Yeah, Clathrus archery.
Yeah, that one's really cool. So yes, so these for anyone who's just listening to us, these are Sculpey sculptures that Sarah has done of mushrooms. One was in a bell jar, and then this one is really cool. It's just easier to see, but it's is that a little skull in there too? Two.
Yeah, it has a bird skull
Two
and
skulls.
a rodent skull.
Wow.
I need one of these for my desk.
Yeah, that is really really
You
cool.
like it?
I do. Where can I buy one?
I am thinking about making them to sell.
You should put them on Etsy.
Yeah.
I know. That's what we keep talking about.
Oh yeah, wasn't
People
I
would
supposed to do
love
that for you?
those.
I would like to because I like. It's a weird thing to make, but I started making the mushrooms because I could look up pictures and make them look like the pictures, and it's a quick, easy thing for me to make while I'm just sitting around watching TV.
Also,
And then
we came from mushrooms. We are mushrooms. We'll go back to
Yeah.
the mushrooms.
Yeah.
So there's a mushroom called a destroying angel. It would be cool if you could. It looks like just a everyday kind of mushroom, which makes it terrifying.
Oh my god, I'm scared.
What is it called?
Destroying angel.
Like, the name alone terrified me, but then you're like, it looks like an everyday mushroom, but it'll kill you.
Yeah.
Ooh. Wait, why will it kill
Fool's
you? Is it super
mushroom?
poisonous?
It's super, super poisonous. But, like, it's like an all-white mushroom, that kind of looks like
It is.
the button mushrooms that you could buy at the grocery store.
Wow.
Yeah, but they have that weird, like, little like, area.
Little, like, skirt, yeah.
They are, I believe so they're in the genus Amanita. So that little, like, ring around. So the way that Amanitas work, when they first start off, they kind of look like an egg on the ground.
Right.
And then as they grow, the outer like skin, if you will, kind of breaks off, and that's sort of what makes the little flecks on top of a lot of amanitas, and that ring is a leftover of the original encasing. So that's a good way to identify Amanitas.
Okay. Amanita, how do you say it? Phalloides? Phalloides.
Wait, so that is the death cap. So there's
That's
two
different.
really bad ones. Yep.
Okay.
Oh.
Wow.
Are they related?
Yes.
Because they
Deadly
look very
cousin
similar.
of the death cap mushroom.
Destroying Angel is Amanita
Extremely common.
Bisporigera.
How can you tell the difference between a death cap and a...
Where's
Destroying
Manitoba?
Angel.
Is that in Canada?
Yes, I think so.
Well, apparently they're extremely common in Manitoba.
Yeah, and you can find them sort of in the northern parts of the United States. I think a little further north than Syracuse, though.
Armando, I think I have forgotten to tell you something that happened to me recently.
What?
Because I was just about to make a quip about how gray wolves don't pass over the Canadian border, allegedly.
So...
But that's not what I was going to tell you.
Okay, what were you going to tell me?
I hit a coyote the other day.
Oh, no.
That's what I said too. And my car has been it's been in the shop for the last 2 weeks.
Damn.
It's not that bad, honestly. Like, it happened too fast for me even to react to it. And it, like, went right under, like, the front corner bumper. So I think it kind of...
She's not dead.
Yeah, and I'm still here, obviously. But, like, I think it kind of, like, fucked up some stuff underneath the car and in the engine. But, it really... If I had seen it and reacted to it, it would have been way worse for both me and the coyote, actually. Because when the tow truck guy... Like, it all... First of all, that happened really fast. And then I pulled over and, like, all the adrenaline kicked in, you know? And I was honestly afraid to get out of the car. And while I was on the phone with AAA, the tow truck guy pulled up behind me because he was on his way home and he saw this happen.
Wow.
He pulled up behind me and I was like, I don't know what's happening. Someone's here at my vehicle. I swear to God, I said that to them. But it was like the throughway authority, like, pulling up behind me. They're like, ma'am, are you okay? And I got out of the car and I was like, oh my God, like, did you see what I hit? Like, I didn't even see what it was because it was literally just like a flash of light. And then my car was fucked immediately. And I was like, I don't understand. And he goes, oh yeah, it was a coyote. And I was like, no. And he goes,
No!
Don't worry, it didn't suffer. And I was like,
You didn't tell me that part.
Oh, yeah. His follow-up was, you obliterated that thing. And I was like,
Oh my God!
not sure how to feel about that, but okay.
Hey, though, at least he didn't suffer.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is
And back to
at
the
least does
mycelium
not
he
suffer.
goes.
Bringing us back.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm not gonna lie, I started looking up mushroom coffee.
Oh, yeah, that mudwater
Chaga,
stuff.
I think those are chaga.
What?
I don't
Chaga
know.
mushrooms, I think.
I don't know.
This one, the one that...
I need to stop drinking coffee. It's bad.
Chaga is the medicinal one. Apparently can possibly cure cancer.
Oh,
What's it
really?
called?
Maybe I
Chaga?
should get Chagagga?
1G, I think. I know more about plants than fungi, so it's also a shot in the dark for me.
You know a lot about a lot of things.
I know, you sound very smart.
That's because
Thanks, I went to college.
No, I mean, like, I
was
know
like-
he is. I know he... Okay.
Wait.
I just meant compared to us when we, like, say things, we're like, ooh.
Yeah, I know. We're like, the internet told us it was true.
We were just really curious and wanted to learn a little bit.
Yes. No, it's nice to have an educated person here with us on the podcast.
Hey, I Googled just like y'all do. I really do.
Yeah, but you know things.
Okay, there was one episode, I forget what it was, But you, like, said something about how some lady, like, went out and, like, got her doctorate and, like, did all of this. And I was like, are you mad at her for doing that? I forgot what it was.
It was the ADHD episode. Yeah, because she was neurodivergent, and then she went and did all this stuff that's typically hard for us.
Oh, yeah.
It's like,
So funny.
I mean, great for you, but still, it's difficult.
Yeah.
Great for you, but damn it.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, Armando, I know that I've been told, but also for our listeners and for everyone else who doesn't know, what is it that you are currently studying right now?
So I am in the process of getting my master's, and I'm hoping for my PhD in horticulture. My specific research is on green roofs.
Would you like to tell us what green roofs are?
So they're roofs that are green.
But like
So
plant-based roofs.
yes.
Okay.
So there's quite a bit of like what you could do with a green roof. So you can either do like just a very shallow green roof just to have plant matter on it. It still has a lot of benefits. Or you could do like, what they're doing in New York City where they're renovating some areas and turning it into green roofs and like essentially putting up parks on top of buildings and such. So that is something that you can do. Me specifically, what I'm studying is rooftop agrovoltaics. So we're taking agricultural plants and planting them essentially on a roof mixed with solar panels in an effort to sort of help with the energy crises, food deserts, water management in major cities. Because there was a study done, I forgot by who, but by 2050, it's projected that about 2/3 of the world population will be in an urban setting. And, trying to feed all those people without and feed them like fresh food, not processed garbage and stuff like that. So that's what I'm studying.
That's
That
awesome.
sounds intense.
I am
That's
so
crazy.
excited.
That sounds like actually like a great thing to not only study, but it's also like something to bring to this country, because I feel like it might be Japan, it might be another country, but I think it's Japan that like has a few buildings that are like that, where they have like gardens, but it's like it's an actual like throughout the building and on top. I swear to God, it's like it's scrolling through Instagram, it's like where I see this stuff. And then I've also seen it on like highways. Again, I think it's Japan, but it might be another country in Asia. But but where they have like these green walls to help with the like the air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, with green structures, because there's green roofs and green walls, it helps with noise pollution, water pollution, air pollution. Also helps with maintaining sort of the heat, the thermodynamics of a building.
Right.
So, in the summer, it keeps the building cooler. In the winter, it keeps it warmer. There's a lot of benefits to green roofs. And now we're just trying to add on another benefit where it can also help produce power as well as food.
Wow.
Yeah.
Does this mean that you would be willing to help us create hobbit holes on my parents' property?
I was literally, okay, I wasn't going to go that far, but I was about to be like, okay, so we've actually all been mildly obsessed with earth bag houses for quite some time, for years. But we're just like at a very rudimentary amateur level of like buying the books and like understanding the basic of like, okay, like my soil needs to be like this and have these components in order for it to like really work. And But I have seen like installations of earth bag houses where they have a full garden on the roof, and like the water that they use to water the roof. Of course, it's also built partially into the ground, but the water that's used to water like the garden on the roof filters back through and filters into the house. Obviously, somehow that I don't fully understand, but
So if you give me, I want to say it's a couple of years. So I'm part of this program
okay.
where
I thought you were just
like,
saying,
here
like,
now.
okay, if you give me like a few, maybe years, like.
No. Well, yes, give me a couple of years because there's a program that I'm part of, which oh my goodness, what is it called? It's God damn it.
I feel that.
Green Roof something. So if you go to greenroofs.org, Green Roofs for Healthy Cities, that's what it's called.
Oh, okay.
And basically, I'm in this program because my professor is on the board of it. So I'm in this program where I become a green roof professional. So like,
We both have the same face at the same time.
I don't know how you can talk to us with a serious
I
face.
don't know either.
because funny enough, I actually wasn't looking. I was looking at the website to try to figure out what it was called.
Okay, that makes more
Okay,
sense.
good. Sorry for Paul.
And so that would basically allow me to, design and install waterproofing, all that kind of stuff with green roofs. Basically, people would come to me to help them install green roofs and tell them this is going to work, this is not going to work, we should do it this way, stuff like that.
If you ever
Let's do
need a blank canvas of space,
To
there's one.
test out your theories.
There's one right
Yeah.
here, and I know that I'm technically speaking for the owners of the property at this point.
Nah, they would still go for it.
Even though I live in the penthouse.
Stop it.
But like, if you ever at any point needed a place to experiment these things and to work out some ideas, they would definitely supply that space for you.
Well, something that I would like to do is bring this research back to the Northeast because the climates are two totally different places.
Right.
And, like the Northeast gets way more rain than here in Colorado. Like, we get 350 days of sunshine here.
Wow.
I did not know that.
Yeah. It's been beautiful. It's been fantastic. It's been great for my mental health.
I was going to say, that's why people in Colorado are so happy.
So happy. Yeah.
Yeah, like you do. Well, unfortunately, like my apartment's like a little like almost like basement-y type of an apartment. So like I don't get like as much sun, but when I go outside, I'm like, ooh, this is great. So I would like to bring it over to the Northeast and see, how to kind of get around the issue of lack of light and way more water than the plants actually need. So, yeah. So I may be hitting you up for that.
I was going to say, especially if you're interested in lack of light, we are on a north-facing hill, and right, yes, we're facing the north. But it like goes straight up. But there's so much space, and like there's actually like a full clearing back. Anyways, I'm just saying we have all talked about it, and we would fully support you in experimenting and projects in that endeavor.
Okay.
Hobbit hole.
That is great to know, honestly, because if I can bring this back to the Northeast, that'd be great.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. 100%. Yeah, guys, this has been amazing.
This has been so much fun. I am so happy you guys invited me on the show.
Me too. This is great.
I'm just so happy to have you, honestly. Like, this has been a dream come true, really, after all this time. Also, I feel like we didn't really, like, introduce you that well. So, like, besides the fact that Armando hosts the podcast, The Plant Nook, which obviously you should go check out. It's delightful. It's lovely. And personally, I love listening to your voice.
Oh, thank you.
It just made, like, it's just very soothing. And I also, anyways. So go and listen to it and find out for yourself. But it's wonderful. And, but me and Armando met bartending in Syracuse.
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did. And there was something else I was going to say. Oh, yes. And now Armando obviously is at school in Colorado. And obviously, I was about to be like, how do you like Colorado? But I'm like, 350 days of sunshine, like, bitch. It's been gloomy as fuck out here.
It's been great. Colorado is super, super fun. Lots to see. Lots of good food, actually. I'm running into a lot of good food, which I'm really excited for. And lots of really friendly people.
I bet they're getting a lot of good sunshine.
Yeah,
But
getting the
also
vitamin D.
not saying,
mountains.
yeah, I was like not saying that that's the only reason why people are friendly, but it does help. Obviously, it helps us all. We all need that D. I did that for Sarah's face and for yours too, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I did see that you were guest bartending the other night at, what was it, a speakeasy?
Yeah, it was a speakeasy. Yeah, a friend of
What?
Yeah, it's in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. I don't know if I can say the name because it's technically members only.
Okay.
Yeah, and like the person that I went to is a family friend, and they're the ones that own it. And it was so much fun.
That's super, super cool.
Yeah, because my family has never known me as a bartender because I became a bartender a little late in life, in my opinion. But it was like, I never went home and made drinks for my family.
Right.
And so like my family friend was like, make me something with gin. I was like, okay. In terms of liquor, they have all the liquor, like so many different types of like gin, whiskeys, yada yada. But like sort of like the mixers were a little on the low side. But they had what's it called? Lime juice, and they had elderflower liqueur.
Yep.
So I just did that, and like, oh my god, this looks so good. I'm like, oh, this is like a basic drink that would make people.
I know, but honestly, you throw a little elderflower in anything. Well, not
Anything.
anything, but I mean, like, fucking, yes, that's a great combo. Elderflower,
Right?
gin, and
Lime.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
That's all you need.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of, like, a name for that.
See, I was never good at coming up with names for any
Me
of the drinks I've
either.
made.
Yeah. I wanted it to be, like, something, fruity, gay, and Lord of the Rings inspired. So I was
Funny
like,
enough, I was thinking the same thing. Like, exactly like those
Gimli
descriptions.
and Legolas
Legolas
had a baby. Like,
Yeah.
If what and Legolas had a baby?
Gimli?
Oh god.
There's sexual
let's see.
tension. You can cut it with a knife in that.
Oh, yeah.
series.
With a
Nice.
knife.
Oh yeah.
A dull one.
A blunt axe.
I don't know what that would be.
Yeah, I don't know either. Yeah, I don't know.
Sorry, I'm
still
over here
can't think of
looking up
anything. Yeah, what are you?
mushroom supplements for autoimmune diseases.
Yeah. To be honest, I needed to stop spending money on frivolous things and buying myself more healthy things because I have really horrible healthy habits, as in, like, I don't have any healthy habits. The healthiest habit I have is that I will not get out of the car without a bottle of water in my hand. It does not matter where I'm going. And, like, so the other day we were going out to have drinks for a friend's birthday, and we're all meeting at Dave & Buster's.
Yeah, I
And
love
of
Dave &
course-
Buster's.
So, in Syracuse, Dave & Buster's is in the mall.
The mall.
We park
Yep.
in the garage.
Oh,
I get out of the
no.
car and I walk into the mall with a water bottle in my hand. I swear to God, I got like 20 yards into the mall before I was like, why do I have a water bottle? I can't help it. I literally, every single time I get out with a water bottle, I don't drink the water.
That's a great habit to have, though.
Yeah, it's just, I have it near to me. Usually I will, like, try it. Now I've been trying to, like, chug a full bottle before I get out of the car, so at least I can be like, okay, you drank it this time. But that's it. I don't have really that great of healthy habits. I pretty much, it's like today I literally, like, drank coffee. I forced myself to have 2 bottles of water at the gym, and then I had Chinese food for lunch.
Beautiful.
See, I started ordering Daily Harvest
Nice.
so that I could make myself eat vegetables.
Yeah.
When I first got here, I needed 8 of these a day, at least.
Oh yeah, it's very dry out here.
So dry.
So dry, and the altitude also sucks.
Oh
How
yeah,
does
I
it
forget that that's a
feel?
thing.
Like,
Sometimes you get queasy or nauseous, get a really bad headache. Like,
I have
But
never
it was like
experienced that.
noticeably different. When you...
for me, not so much.
Okay.
But I have seen like my sister and like some of my friends who have never been at an altitude this high before, and like they're like, I feel like I'm gonna puke.
Yeah, so
Weird.
when my friend Danny came, we went up Sandia Mountain in Albuquerque. Yeah, and it's like 10,000 feet.
Ooh, yeah.
Wow.
But they're also from Florida.
Oh.
So they were like, a little bit at the top. And I was like, this is great. I love this. You can see the whole state.
Yeah, that was one really weird thing when I drove with you last year, was to realize, like, because I'm always like, to me, I'm like, it feels like I'm looking up a mountain's butthole.
No, I'm way higher
It feels
than
like
you.
I'm literally like looking at a mountain's ass. I'm like, oh my god, it's so steep. It's right here, but it's like not that high at all. And then we're driving around. We're driving on seemingly flat fucking country for hours, and we get to her house, and it was like a good 30, probably like 3,500 feet higher than this altitude here.
I was going to say, we're at like 4,000 feet here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Here it's like maybe 800 or 1,200 or something silly. Like, it's low.
Where was I? I think I'm like 5,500.
I would believe that.
I think. Oh, about 5,000 feet above.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, Sandia Peak is 10,000 feet.
I couldn't.
My god.
And
I couldn't.
well, okay, but if you do ever go to Albuquerque, you should go up to the top because it's really cool.
Okay, fine. One of these days.
I'm gonna make it there one day. I know
Twist
that for
my
a
arm.
fact. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I feel like this has been a very successful fucking episode, and you're welcome to everyone for having our delightful guests. Yes, amazing. You
Yes!
Thank you for
clap
having
your
me. It was
hands
so
now.
much fun.
Yeah, this was a fucking blast. I can't wait to have you back on, personally.
Oh, yeah. I already have some ideas of what I want to talk about next.
Fuck yeah! Awesome. Yeah, so as always, you guys can find us on Instagram at wonderlust.pod. I forget people can see me. And on our website, thewonderlustpodcast.com. And you can please, again, like, we don't really say this anymore, but go ahead, leave us a review. Tell us
Pretty please,
how
with
much
sugar on top.
you think we're great or not. Whatever you think, go ahead and give it to us. We're ready for it. We're ready to take it, honey. We're ready to dig through
I'm
that
not.
poop.
I just want positive reviews. Thank you.
Well, I'll dig through the poop and hand you a fly for a snack. How's that sound?
Oh my god.
Yes, we do still have spooky merch up, and spooky merch will probably only be up for like maybe another couple of weeks, and then spooky
gotta get
merch
on
is
that.
gonna disappear, and we're gonna get other merch. So get your spooky merch now while you can for all of our first episodes. Technically, that's like part of like our first group of like 20 episodes, so that's like real limited edition spooktacular merch that I spent a long time illustrating and designing for.
And it looks really
the
great.
masses.
Yeah.
It does look so good.
Cute,
Wait, you
guys.
should keep it up through Christmas because, you know,
Christmas
it's a
presents.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
That too.
Oh,
Okay.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Well, if that's what the people want, we'll give it to you. But
The people meaning me want that for
okay,
sure.
all right. Well then, fine. Well then, we will keep it up through Christmas. But then after that,
Twist our arm, why don't you?
my how the turntables. But yeah, I think it might be time.
Yeah.
Hey, Wanderers. I think it might be time for us to,
Wander off.
Yay!